But you don't have to tell Dusty Baker about the injury situation. No team in baseball has dealt with injuries like the Cincinnati Reds. They have had 18 players making 20 appearances on the Reds disabled list this year. And they've lost 2 of their main pitchers, now 3 with the loss of Aaron Harang, as the Reds come in 52-71 for the season. Here's Dusty's Subway lineup. He's got Drew Stubbs leading off, a great young talent up from their minor league system. Paul Janisch bats second with Joey Votto in the 3-hole. The middle of the order is Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland, and Laynce Nix. Johnny Gomes, Corky Miller, and Bronson Arroyo rounded out the starting 9 for Dusty Baker against right-hander Jeff Suppan.
Hey, you see the numbers for Suppan. It's been about a month since he's been out on the mound with that oblique injury. A 5-8 record, a 5.27 ERA, and kind of unfortunate for Suppan because he was pecking away trying to drop that ERA until his last couple of starts, where he had given up 15 runs in his last 8 innings, covering 2 starts.
Well, set the Brewers defensively for you. Ryan Braun, Mike Cameron, and Frank Catalanato in the outfield. The infield is Casey McGee, Craig Counsell, Felipe Lopez, and Prince Fielder, and a battery of Jason Kendall and Jeff Suppan. Suppan's last start against the Washington Nationals, that was back on the 27th of July. Home plate umpire is Jim Joyce, Bill Miller, Darrell Cousins, and Angel Campos on the bases, and the crew chief is Darrell Cousins at second base. First pitch of the ball game for Suppan, and it's in there for a strike, and away we go. Suppan made 2 rehabilitation starts in the minor leagues, one in Single A, Wisconsin, up in Appleton, the other in AAA Nashville. Long run for Catalanato, can't come up with it, and that's going to be a base hit for Drew Stubbs.
Mike Catalanato playing relatively deep out in right field, got a little bit of a late break on it, just couldn't get to it before it hit the ground. Almost able to get there, but you know, the one thing that Suppan did in his 2 rehab starts, the numbers weren't very good, but he threw a lot of strikes. Concentrated on throwing the ball over the plate. He did that, and more importantly, he didn't really experience any problems with that oblique injury.
Tough injury to come back from, especially for a pitcher, and it was his left oblique, the side muscle, the driving side for Suppan. He and Chris Bosio have been working extensively on his mechanics and primarily the load position. Bosio was telling us the other day he'd like to get Suppan a little more loaded up and ready to fire, kind of like cocking a gun, you know. You want to make sure you get the reaction before the actual action of the pitch, and he thinks that might take a little pressure off that oblique muscle as well.
And interestingly enough, I mean, concentrating on the timing of taking the ball out of his glove and in preparation for making his pitch, that's an interesting theory and something that most people don't think about, including me. Everything works together, though.
Paul Janisch, Cincinnati shortstop. This has been kind of a makeshift lineup for the Reds. They've lost a number of players to the disabled list, a number of their starting players. They've also traded away some guys. Alex Gonzalez traded to the Red Sox. Edwin Encarnacion traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. He was involved in that Scott Rowland deal. And Scott Rowland just now getting back in the lineup for Dusty Baker. Activated on Sunday.
Yeah, currently 11 players on the disabled list for Cincinnati, and a lot of big names, a lot of run production and starting pitching. It's been a rough stretch for Dusty Baker. Starting pitching hasn't been very good, except for tonight's starter. Arroyo has been tremendous. That is a long list of guys that are hurt right now for Cincinnati.
Yeah, 11 players currently on the DL. The latest, Aaron Harang, who had emergency appendectomy. He was scheduled to start tomorrow, but he's out for the season.
Just about their entire starting rotation out.
Well, Edinson Volquez is going to require Tommy John surgery. Johnny Cueto is out as well. But as Rock mentioned, Bronson Arroyo has been pretty good. He's been exceptional since early July, right around the All-Star break. Arroyo put up some good numbers, and he's usually good for a second half flurry, and he's putting another one on the board this year. 2 balls and a strike. Giannis takes one inside. 3-1 the count.
And you can see Suppan really trying to establish inside. That's something he doesn't ordinarily do. It may be the Chris Bosio influence, maybe some of the things that he and Bosio working on in their side sessions. The first 2 hitters really making a concerted effort to come inside with the fastball.
3 balls and a strike on Giannis, and Stubbs takes off. That's ball 4. So 2 on to start this game for Cincinnati. A single and a walk. Suppan in his last time out a month ago here at Miller Park. That was against the Washington Nationals, and that was one of his worst games as a Brewer. And I think a good part of that game, Suppan trying to pitch through injury, ends up surrendering 10 runs in 5 1/3. He was on the disabled list the next day.
And he'd been throwing pretty well before that, except for that the start right before it at Pittsburgh only lasted 3 1/3 innings. But before that time, Suppan was putting together a pretty good run of good starts.
That one's lined into center right at Cameron, who makes a catch. Boy, Joey Votto stings one to center field, but Cameron is there for it. And the runners cannot advance, and the Brewers catch a break.
Yeah, tough play for Cameron. Tough to judge the trajectory of that baseball. Hit right at him. Didn't have to move. And right at the last minute, because that ball sank as it got to center field. A little bit off the end of the bat for Votto. A reaction play by Cameron, able to haul it in.
Still 2 men on base with 1 gone, and here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips has been nursing a hand injury. He was hit by a pitch last week, but good to go. He broke his thumb earlier this year and never went on the disabled list. Basically hit his way through it. Matter of fact, the game he returned from that broken thumb, missed I think 3 games total. He ended up hitting a home run in his first at bat. And he continues to put up the numbers. He has an outside shot at a 100 RBI season this year.
And a tremendous run production out of the second base spot. He's always been a good player. Good offensively and terrific at second base. And when you look at the Cincinnati lineup, there aren't too many guys that either have not been here all year or haven't been on the disabled list. Brandon Phillips may be the only one.
And Phillips playing injured on a couple of occasions this year. Hard to hit with a broken thumb. It was his right thumb that he broke earlier this season. That was in April.
Yeah, hard to hit and hard to throw the baseball, I would imagine.
It was impressive how it was just a hairline fracture. He uses the padding on his right hand to protect that thumb still, but even it wasn't a big break. It still was a pain threshold situation for Brandon Phillips. But he's certainly a guy that likes to play every day. Cincinnati coming off a series against the Pirates. The Reds won on Sunday. They beat Pittsburgh 4-1, but lost the series to the Pirates. Dropped 2 out of 3. Cincinnati has not posted consecutive wins since early in the month on August 6th and 7th. Phillips slices one foul and out of play. It's 2-2.
And one of the reasons their starting pitching has been very inconsistent. Their last 10 starts, the starters are 2-5. They just haven't been able to eat up innings. Of course, you don't have to. There's nobody going to complain to the Brewers about that. Use of the bullpen an issue for just about every team right now.
Yeah, you figure Dusty Baker and Ken Maka could share a few stories over a beer, huh? 10-26 the Reds are since the All-Star break. Little bouncer out to Lopez. The out recorded at second and in time at first. A slow developing double play. I'm surprised Phillips was thrown out, frankly. But the Brewers turn it, and Suppan is out of the inning. 4-6. Brewer manager coming in at 61 and 63 on the year. The Brewers have set a goal to get back to 500 and then go from there. Macha's subway lineup today: Felipe Lopez, Craig Counsell, and Ryan Braun. Middle of the order is Prince Fielder, Casey McGee, and Mike Cameron. And Macha has Catalanado, Kendall, and Suppan rounding it out.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Bronson Arroyo. He's been outstanding in the second half of the season after the All-Star break. A 272 earned run average, but he's only 2-4. He throws everything up there, different pitches, different speeds, and different arm angles. And he's 3-1 at Miller Park with a 2.84 ERA. That's in 8 games and 6 starts.
Now Arroyo through July 5th had an ERA near 6, a 5.85 earned run average in 17 games started, but since then in 8 games has an ERA at 2.30. So he has been their best. And the former Red Felipe Lopez hoping to do some damage this week. Lopez was an all-star with Cincinnati back in 05. Arroyo went 8 innings in his last start against the Giants last week. Gave up just 1 run.
And lost.
He's 3-4 during that stretch we talked about. Lopez with a base hit. Boy, this guy, yeah, he has been something else. Lopez looks like he's recording 2 and 3 hits a game at this point. Here's how the Reds stack up defensively. Johnny Gomes is in left. Drew Stubbs, the young prospect, in center. He's a very good defender. Laynce Nix in right. The infield is Scott Rowland, Paul Yanish, Brandon Phillips, and Joey Votto. And Corky Miller resurfaces. He's catching Arroyo today.
Yeah, the numbers on Bronson Arroyo. He got off to a slow start this year, but his August numbers have been mind-boggling. In 4 starts, he's only given up 7 runs, and he's in August in 4 starts, averaging over 7 innings per start. Yeah, just when the Reds need him most, he's been throwing the baseball extremely well.
Well, Arroyo has found his way in the headlines a little more often than he'd want to with his discussions and his thoughts on performance-enhancing drugs, especially what came out of Boston. Little bouncer from Counsell, long throw from Yanish, not in time. Counsell beats it out, and the Brewers have 2 on to start the first inning.
Almost a pretty good play by Scott Rowland. If he's able to grab it at third base, they might be able to get him. And that's a long throw by Yanish. He's got a great arm, but bang bang at first. And Bill Miller, the first base umpire, looks like he got it right. Good piece of hitting by Counsell, taking it to the opposite field and able to beat it.
It's always that extra gear when a hitter can sniff out a base hit, right?
You can smell it. You can smell it. It's like a carrot in front of you.
Counsell legs one out. 2 on for Ryan Braun. Well, Braun comes in with 27 home runs for the year, 91 driven in. He pushed over the 90 RBI plateau yesterday. Braun hit a 2-run home run that put the Brewers on top, and the lead they would not relinquish. That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah. They seem to run together pretty quickly, don't they?
Brewers wrapping up a 7-game, 8-day road trip. Dropped 3 in a row in Pittsburgh, then won 3 of 4 in Washington. Well, we're going to keep a close eye on Ryan Braun the rest of the way. He and Prince Fielder putting together magical seasons, and these two are the top tandem in all of baseball in run production this year. Braun with 91 RBIs, Prince Fielder with 110.
Been a lot of fun watching these two go about their business every single day. Neither one of them need any days off. And we talk about pitchers that you need to get to early. Bronson Arroyo is about the poster child for that. Remember that start he had early in the season against Milwaukee? Lasted only 1 inning, 1+, 9 runs.
Yeah, the Brewers got 4 in the first inning off Arroyo and then scored 5 in the second. Braun was a big part of that. Sweeping curveball for a strike.
On a 3-0 count.
Well, that would be the definition of the kitchen sink, right?
Yeah.
Piggly Wiggly scouting report.
There is really no telling what he's going to throw when. Different arm angles, different speeds, different pitches. Keeps you off balance pretty well.
Well, Braun is 2 home runs shy of 100 in his 3rd season in the big leagues, and historic proportions is what we're talking about with Ryan Braun. Look how fast he has put the home run numbers together, and with just 1 more home run, he will officially pass Frank Robinson, who did it as a member of the Cincinnati Reds, 56, 57, and 58, posting 98 home runs. Big time company for Ryan Braun. Still a month plus of baseball to play. Gets jammed that time, and this is going to work as a double play. Lopez caught in no man's land, and a line drive out that turns into 2 for Cincinnati.
Man, you just got to freeze. That ball was a line drive. Didn't hit it all that well. Looked like he got it down on the trademark a bit, but can't make that mistake. See Lopez with a big secondary lead. The ball's in front of him, number 1, so you go back right away. And an easy double play to get Lopez.
And so instead of 2 on with nobody out, 2 quick outs with 1 swing of the bat. And here's Fielder with Counsell at first base. Brents opens the day with 33 homers. 110 RBIs, a batting average still north of 300. 304 coming into play today. An on-base percentage of .416 for Fielder. You can find Fielder's and Braun's name just about every major offensive category among league leaders in the National League.
Man, on some lists they're both there. On the same list. Been an amazing thing to watch these 2, as we talked about.
Here's some of the ranks. Fielder leads all of baseball in RBIs. His 33 homers, 4th best in the National League. 6th in the league in on-base percentage. And a .304 average has him into the top 15. Fielder's up there in total bases in the top 4. And of course walks. Prince is 4th in the league in walks. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Prince.
As an example of what we're talking about with Arroyo, a slider, he dropped down, he hesitated just a split second. He'll do anything to keep a hitter off balance. 69 miles an hour on a curveball and up to 91 with a heater.
And knowing that he'll throw anything at any time, there's always that hint of hesitation when you face Bronson Arroyo. So if he's throwing strikes for all of his pitches, he's tough to handle. Little changeup missed.
And that's a pitch that he has used a lot lately, particularly, second half of the season. Early in the year, they call it the BP fastball. Somewhere between a changeup and a fastball, just get a hitter out in front.
Full count, 2 outs. Counsell will start with a pitch, and Fielder rolls one toward the middle. Giannis makes a play, and the inning is over. A promising start, but the Brewers come up empty. And we're on our way to the second. You can watch your Brewers on Fox Sports Wisconsin. You can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv, the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week, all live right on your computer. And you can catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Brewers.com, where baseball is always on. Scott Rowland ready to lead off for the Cincinnati Reds against his former teammate Jeff Suppan. Suppan working a scoreless first inning despite a hit and a walk. Each club with double plays already in this game. Rolen is just coming back from a concussion. He really hasn't played much with the Cincinnati Reds. It's only the 6th game he's played with the Reds. Has 1 homer, 2 RBIs, 2 hits, and 17 at bats. But, he was hit by a pitch just a couple of weeks ago, and he's just now getting back. Made an appearance in Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Activated from the disabled list and making the start here today.
Yeah, he was lighting it up for the Toronto Blue Jays over in the American League. A .320 batting average. That power numbers down for him. Only 8 homers and 43 RBIs. And maybe one of the best third basemen defensively in baseball.
He was putting together a nice year in the American League, hitting .320 in Toronto with 8 home runs and 43 runs batted in. Nearly 90 games as a Blue Jay. Now with Scott Rolen returning to Cincinnati, he reunites with his former general manager in St. Louis, Walt Jocketty, who's the GM with the Reds now. Took over last year full time. So a Cincinnati Milwaukee connection via the Cardinals here with Suppan and Rolen. That one is a fair ball down the line. Extra bases for Scott Rolen.
Rolen continues to swing the bat pretty well. It looked like a curveball from Suppan that he was able to wait back and hit hard down the line. Stayed middle in and a little bit up in the zone, just out of the reach of McGee. So back-to-back innings, the Reds have been able to get their leadoff hitter aboard. This time a leadoff double. Breaking ball staying up. Those are the pitches that concern you with a guy that's been on the DL for a month. Those off-speed pitches, a lot of times you don't have a good feel for them.
Chris Bosio talking about one of the biggest concerns he has with Suppan coming off the disabled list is the timing issue, finding the proper tempo. You know, fastballs are one thing, you can just rear back and let them go. It's getting your mechanics in order. And,
release point, not worrying about that injury. Sometimes you kind of hold back a little bit.
Laynce Nix, the former Brewer, at the plate. Nix did most of his power damage earlier this season, in the first month of the season. Sitting on 10 home runs, he's driven in 33.
Yeah, he got off to a tremendous start. I mean, really doing a nice job. Almost forced Dusty Baker to play him in the outfield every day, but now he's got to because he doesn't have many options. Maybe one of their best all-around players has been on the DL for a while, Jay Bruce. So Nick's getting a lot of playing time.
Scott Rolen at second. 2 balls and a strike on Nix. And that one's hit well to right at Catalanato. Rolen's going to tag, and he'll make it. There's some line drive outs here early. Votto and Laynce Nix, and that's the first out of the second inning. Well, that is a look at Milwaukee Bucks guard Charlie Bell. He's joining our crew today, running our Fox box right now. Make sure you get that count right, Charlie. Charlie has been doing other jobs all summer long, and you can get an exclusive look at the video at Bucks.com right now.
Looks like he's got it under control.
Smooth. Charlie Bell is smooth no matter what he does. Good work. And I hear he does not come cheap. All right, move that runner, Charlie. There you go. Nice. You see how he moved Scott Rolen from second to third?
Yeah. Lightning fast.
Johnny Gomes at the plate, evens a count at 1-1. So just to get an idea of what Charlie's doing in the truck. See, he can move that runner back to second base if he wants.
Yeah, I get it.
Check him out. There he goes.
Got to make sure that counts right. The only way we know what it is.
Now he just moved him to second base. Now we'll put him back at third. It's fun bossing around NBA players. That rarely happens. You know?
Yeah, you don't want to do that too often.
Good fun in the truck. Great to be back with our crew. The dream team, we call them.
Yeah.
So he's learning from the best.
One of the many reasons why it's so good to be home.
3 balls and a strike to count on Johnny Gomes.
And they get into Washington, D.C. late on Wednesday night. And leave at about 11 o'clock. Wheels up in D.C. Was it 10:30?
Yeah, something like that.
Last night.
An unusual 4:30 Eastern start last night. Nice win for the Brewers yesterday, though. Did a lot of damage in 1 inning. A 6-run 6th inning for the Brewers. Gomes draws a walk. And runners at the corners. Nice, Charlie. Well, that leads us to our carsoup.com email the booth question. Donna in Highland wants to know, what effect will Suppan and Bush now have on the starting rotation?
Well, I think we heard Ken Marcus say it so well that, you know, you don't know what to expect out of either one of them the first couple of starts. Their pitch count is going to be very closely monitored. Not sure how long they're going to be able to go in the game, but I think more importantly, you put 2 guys back in the bullpen where I think that Ken Marcus is going to be able to use them very effectively. Being a waiver, you know, back in the bullpen, and Mike Burns available tonight. So you got a couple of guys out there that can back up these starters, you know, at least their first couple of times out.
Well, Suppan will be on a pretty rigid pitch limit here tonight.
Yeah, Ken Maka talking about 80 pitches for Suppan. I would imagine Bush would be in the same range, somewhere around, you know, 75, 85 pitches, depending on how the inning's going.
Corky Miller with a base hit, and the Reds are on the board. So the light hitting Reds catcher just up from AAA singles to right, and Cincinnati has the early lead, 1-0.
Yeah, Corky Miller has been, you know, back and forth between the minor leagues and the big leagues for a while now. Now the benefits of being a very good defensive catcher. I mean, be able to stay in the big leagues and stay in baseball a long time, and, you know, pitch up in the strike zone, just punches it to right field.
You got to love having a guy around with the name of Corky.
Right.
Well, he put Cincinnati on top first run of the game. 2 on, just 1 out, and Arroyo up there to bunt the runners over.
We used to have Corky Miller and Pokey Reese with Jim Gantner in the first base coaching box. Pokey, Corky, and Gumby.
Good bunt by Arroyo. Suppan bare hands. It's a nice play to get the out. A sacrifice bunt for Bronson Arroyo, his 12th of the year.
Yeah, this is a good test for that oblique injury right there. Able to bounce off the mound, able to barehand it on the second hop. Straightens up and throws a strike to first base. A good play by Suppan. And a good bunt by Arroyo.
Now second and third, top of the order, Drew Stubbs. A run is in on a Corky Miller single to right. Stubbs, a big prospect in the Red system. Baseball America came out with their best tools edition, and Stubbs on that list with his arm strength, his speed, and his defensive ability in center field. Good looking young player. He takes over for Chris Dickerson, who injured his ankle on Sunday.
And the one thing missing that you mentioned was his offensive abilities. Off to a slow start. Not sure he's ready to hit in the big leagues, but a very good defender.
Stubbs hit a walk-off home run against the Giants last Thursday. Was hitless in the Pirates series, 0 for 8, and now 4 for 21. His brief run in the big leagues this season, 4 hits and 21 at bats.
This big kid with pretty good leverage up there at the plate. You can see how he gets a hold of one. He'll hit it pretty well. Looks like a low ball hitter. Had a good swing of the slider that time from Suppan.
6'4", 205 from Texarkana, Texas, Drew Stubbs. Fastball missed. The only other major league Stubbs I remember is Franklin Stubbs.
Former Brewer first baseman.
It's great barbecue in Texas. A great place called Stubbs Barbecue. Wonder if he's you know, one of the heirs. I'll have to ask him. Get a coupon. Suppan goes up the ladder. Took a big hack, 3-1. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And that pitch above the belt. You just look at a guy and the way he approaches it, whether he's a low ball, high ball hitter. Looks like he likes the ball down about mid-thigh. Give it a pretty good ride.
Stubbs hit 268 in AAA Louisville this year, 107 games. Had 3 home runs, 39 driven in. Second and third, 2 outs. And he lays off a high pitch. Another walk. That's the 3rd walk issued by Suppan. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. And it's Paul Janisch.
And we were talking about his 2 rehab starts for Suppan down in the minor leagues. That, you know, a lot of strikes he was throwing. Not so much tonight. 18 balls, 19 strikes, and 37 pitches. Be a little bit more careful, not getting too much of the plate.
Two hits and 2 walks in the inning. The Reds have the bases loaded. And Paul Janisch at the plate. Janisch walked his last time up. Janisch, an excellent glove man. Dusty Baker loves his defensive game, his arm strength and his range at short. Matter of fact, Dusty said if he can hit 250, he'd be an everyday shortstop in the big leagues. That one is pulled down the left field line, and that one is hooking foul.
And not by much. Well, Janisch gave that one a pretty good ride. Goodness. Second deck. Just hooks foul as it gets to the foul pole.
Angel Campos had it all the way. 0-2 the count. A run is in for Cincinnati. Bases loaded here with 2 outs. Suppan trying to wiggle off an early hook. Reds have already had 6 base runners through the first 2 innings. On the ground to short. Counsell will flip to Lopez. And the inning is over. 1-0. The Reds lead it. Charlie Bell take a bow. Nice going.
By a run as you take a look inside the truck where the magic happens. Craig Counsell picked up one of the 2 Brewers hits in the first inning, and Craig returns to the lineup after Ken Maka gave him a day off yesterday in Washington. Maka said he really wants to be careful how he uses his 39-year-old reliable veteran because he's been so productive. He's having one of his better seasons of his 13-year career, but Ken Maka said he did turn 39 on Friday, and he wants to make sure that he doesn't overuse him and ruin this magical season for Craig Counsell. So, guys, it'll be interesting to see how Ken Maka continues to use Counsell down the stretch.
Well, it will be interesting because he's got it. You know, Alcides Escobar that he would love to be able to put in the lineup as much as he can, but you just can't put, you know, guys like Casey McGee and Craig Counsell on the bench too long. They've had too good a seasons. I mean, you can't do that to him. So you stick him out there at third base once in a while, put him at short, give Escobar a day off. Escobar's been swinging the bat pretty well.
And the other part of that, Ken Maka wants to make sure that Escobar gets time with Willie Randolph, between, and the best way to learn is to play 4 or 5 times a week and then get the 1 day off. That's pretty much the plan Maka and Doug Melvin had for Escobar to start when he was promoted to the big leagues, and they've held right to that. And typically, you don't see it now, but typically Escobar will stand with or sit with Willie Randolph on the bench the days he doesn't play, and they go through all the scenarios and kind of let the game slow down a little bit for Escobar.
And even when he does play, the first guy that is waiting for him is Willie Randolph. If there's a situation or a play that happened in that inning, Willie will take him aside, have a few comments for him.
There's a lot more to it than just playing the position, fielding ground balls. There's positioning, there is certain hitters, how you play certain hitters on certain pitches. There's getting to know your own pitching staff. All that goes into it. Mike Cameron with 1 away. Arroyo striking out Casey McGee. Cameron belted his 18th home run of the year in Washington, D.C. And he hits that one well to left, but right at Johnny Gomes. 2 gone in the inning. Speaking of Mike Cameron, through a contribution to Brewers charities, Mike Cameron will team up with 5-time Grammy Award winner Usher and his New Look Foundation. They're going to host a bowl-a-thon this Thursday at Pinstripes Bowling, located at the iPick Entertainment at Bayshore Town Center. Cameron will host the premier bowl-a-thon event August 27th, beginning at 5 p.m. There'll be a VIP reception and a silent auction. Bowling begins at 6 o'clock. Scores will be tallied at 7:30. So that's a great deal. For more information, log on to Brewers.com.
So I'm down in dugout during batting practice, getting sizes for the bowling balls for some of the guys. Did you see that contraption that they had?
Yeah, I thought they were measuring up for World Series rings down there, but actually that was a bowling ball ring sizer.
Yeah.
Right off the end of the bat. And that's the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Bronson Arroyo. 1-0 Reds. We head to the third. Cincinnati coming up. Joey Votto leads off. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Laynce Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local farm and fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin. Hey, we hope you'll make plans to be with us this week. A homestand that'll run through Sunday. It's the Reds first. And then after this 3-game series with the Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates. That guy will be with us. You know it. His Pete Vukovich mustache. Jeff Suppan back on the bump. He starts his 3rd inning of work. Joey Votto leads off. Votto lined out his last time up. Suppan's been able to limit the damage. Worked out of a mess with the bases loaded last inning. Now you're right, Rock. Suppan working inside a great deal more than he normally does.
Yeah, and just not able to throw strikes with it. If you're going to come inside early in the count, you've got to throw strikes with it. Late in the count, not necessarily.
Joey Votto, one of the best young hitters in the game. Made a run at Rookie of the Year last year. Finished 2nd in the voting to Giovanni Soto of the Cubs. Votto hitting .312 with 18 home runs and 61 driven in. Missed a good part of the order with anxiety disorder.
And one of the many Reds that have been on the disabled list, 18 different players. When you miss guys like Joey Votto and Jay Bruce in your lineup for an extended period of time, that's gonna hurt your offense quite a bit.
Those were the 2 guys to anchor Dusty Baker's opening day lineup. Jay Bruce out with a broken wrist, a broken right wrist. He's been on the disabled list since July 12th. Suppan misses inside. Votto walks, and that is the 4th walk issued by Jeff Suppan. And a pitch count that is rising quickly.
Yeah, it didn't give Votto anything. No fastball in the outer half. Everything inside. He's not able to find the corners with it. But the one thing he was able to do, he didn't leave it out over the plate and allow Votto to hit it hard somewhere. 3 consecutive innings the Reds have had their leadoff hitter on.
So the Reds with 3 hits and 4 walks, and yet only 1 run on the board. Brandon Phillips, he rolled into a 4-6-3 double play last time up. This time he rings one to center field. Cameron cuts it off. Votto's on his way to third, and he'll make it. From first to third goes Joey Votto. Good piece of base running. And the Reds again have their first 2 men aboard.
I'm kind of surprised that he took off and went to third base, but able to make it easily. His throw was right on the money, but it hit Votto in the back as he slid into third base. Would have had it easily. Cameron shading him over toward right center. It took him a while to get there, and by that time a little bit too late. Good base running by Votto.
A walk and a single to start it. First and third for the Reds with Scott Rowland coming up. Rowland doubled his last time up. He started the second inning with a double, and then he scored the lone Reds run. Phillips always a threat to run. This would be a good spot to do it as well. Has 20 stolen bases this year. Suppan just unable to get a strike called on that inside corner.
That's what it's really an art. It's an art form to be able to pitch inside and throw strikes in there. Hitters are so conditioned to look on the outer half of the plate. When you do throw it inside, you got to throw it for strikes early in the count because they're not looking for it in there. They're looking for the fastball away, the sliders. There's a good pitch.
Rowland gets jammed, and he'll dump it into center field, a base hit.
But it was a good pitch. That's the key. I mean, Suppan certainly has established a pattern that he's going to throw that fastball in on the hands of both lefties and righties. And not rewarded for making a pretty good pitch. I mean, not much you can do about that. I mean, that's a good pitch to a good hitter. Able to pull the hands in. You see that belt buckle facing Suppan, and able to fight it off and dump it into the outfield for an RBI. Not anything Suppan could do about that.
A walk and 2 hits. Chris Bosio to the mound. And the Brewers in trouble here early. 2 runs are in on 5 hits already.
And 9 base runners for the Reds in 2+ innings.
Quick trip to the mound for Bosio. Laynce Nix will be the hitter. Nix lined out his last time up. Hit a shot right to Catalanato in right field. Brewers are looking for a double play ball here. They'll concede the run if they can turn 2.
They certainly don't want to fall too far behind Bronson Arroyo the way he's been throwing the baseball. He hasn't been giving up too many runs.
That one up in the zone. Nix gets sawed off a little bit. Braun makes a catch, and Phillips will not advance. So the Reds unable to advance at either bag as Nix flies out to left field.
And Ryan Braun doing a nice job hitting the cutoff man because Scott Rowland tagged up at first. If he tried to airmail it all the way into home plate, I think Roland would have made it into second base, taking away the double play possibility. Good job by Ryan Braun. Once in a while you see an outfielder try and show off his arm on a ball hit shallow. That's not, it wouldn't have been a good idea right there. Hit Casey McGee and everybody had to stay put.
And it keeps the double play opportunity intact. One out for Johnny Gomes. Gomes has hit 15 home runs this year for Cincinnati. Little chopper, that is a foul ball. Gomes hit a big home run against the Brewers earlier this season, what proved to be a game-winning home run late in a game in Cincinnati. And with so many injuries, Gomes is another guy that has enjoyed probably a little more playing time than he expected.
And once again, when your starters get hurt or they're not productive, you get your guys on the bench and they have to start. It weakens your bench quite a bit. Johnny Gomes has always been a good hitter. A tough time to find a spot to play.
Gomes is actually one of the hottest hitters for Cincinnati coming into this series with the Brewers. Gomes has 12 runs batted in his last 9 games. And 4 home runs in his last 9 starts as well. The 0-2 pitch. Got him. Struck him out right on the corner. And Gomes retired, and Suppan an out away from pitching out of another mess.
Well, the more familiar spot on the plate for Suppan, able to put it right on the black. That's a heck of a pitch right there. Jason Kendall holds it there for Jim Joyce and rings him up. There's a big out. Got a chance to get out of this inning with only 1 run across. You got to feel good about that.
First 3 batters reached, a walk and 2 hits. But 2 outs, and the Reds unable to advance their base runners, and now it's Corky Miller. Yeah, good pickup by Kendall. Corky Miller drove in the first Reds run and a single and an RBI last inning.
You don't have to throw him strikes here. You've got Bronson Arroyo on deck. He's a good hitting pitcher, but he's a pitcher. I mean, don't give in here if you fall behind.
Miller pops it up. Suppan's going to get out of it. Counsell makes the call. And missed opportunities for the Reds. Suppan surrenders a run in the second and a run in the third. Bottom of the third inning, Jason Kendall ready to lead off. Coming off a very good road trip. Kendall 10 for 16 at the plate on the last road trip with a couple of runs batted in.
Hitting the ball all over the diamond, pulling it, hitting it back through the middle and going to right field. Had a really good road trip, and particularly in Washington.
Well, Kendall in his last 5 games has 9 hits and 3 runs batted in. Had a big hit yesterday. He sparked a couple of Brewers rallies in that series against the Nationals.
Really hasn't been much wrong with the Brewer offense, particularly on that last road trip, 7 games. Guys are all swinging the bats.
Kendall pops it up. Paul Giannis will make the call and the catch, and 1 away here in the 3rd inning. It's time to get your registration forms in. If you are interested in showing off your big league skills, Brewers Fantasy Camp is the spot for you. It runs January 31st through February 7th. All you have to do to register is call 262-679-3612, or you can log on to the web, brewers.com/fantasycamp.
That big fantasy camp weekend coming up. Next homestand. Guys get introduced before the Cardinals game. Name on the scoreboard. Play a game at Miller Park. All part of the fantasy camp experience.
One of the perks. And of course you get face-to-face access with Bill Schroeder too. That's part of the part of the deal.
Run into the fantasy campers all the time on the road, leaving tickets and have a quick soda after the ball game.
Suppan out quickly. Second strikeout for Bronson Arroyo.
Fastball right down the middle, and Suppan takes it for strike 3.
So 2 quick outs for Arroyo.
I would imagine that the Brewers would just as soon not have Suppan swing the bat too hard with that oblique situation.
Yeah, maybe they sent him up there with a wiffle ball bat.
That can't be good to swing the bat too hard. He took a pitch normally that he'd get a pretty good hack at.
Top of the order, Felipe Lopez singled his last time up and now hitting .359 as a Brewer. .315 overall. He is inside the top 10 in the National League. Brewers have back-to-back hits to start against Arroyo, but nothing since. Well, Taco Bell, who's hot? How about the Brewers offensively? Look at the pre-break batting average, pre-All-Star break, .255, and post-break, .281, a 26-point differential, second best in the National League. That makes a hitting coach proud. Dale Swain has maintained pretty steady course with the Brewers offensively. They put up some big numbers on the road trip. A lot of double-digit hit performances on the trip in all but 2 games. Nice to have Fielder and Braun leading the charge, however.
And the supporting cast, the guys around him really starting to swing the bats well. Took 6 innings for the guys to get going yesterday. Hopefully that won't be the case today.
Milwaukee being shut out yesterday through the first 5 innings by Colin Ballister until their 6-run 6th. Always ready to hit. It's one of Braun's little idiosyncrasies he does when he warms up. He puts himself right on that rail and then swings over that rail to make sure he's swinging on a down plane.
Yeah, part of his pre-at-bat routine. You're only allowed to have 1 batter in the on-deck circle at a given time, but Ryan Braun, takes the on-deck experience a little bit further than most.
And even with 2 outs, he's ready to hit. Lopez hits one hard, deep right field. That is way back and gone. Felipe Lopez with his 2nd home run as a Brewer, his 8th of the year. And it's 2-1 Cincinnati.
He's a good hitter, and make no mistake about that. Felipe Lopez has been exceptional since coming over to Milwaukee. Not a bad leadoff hitter. I think they've found their leadoff hitter for the season. Right down the middle, and he didn't miss it. Nice easy swing. That's one thing about Lopez. He very rarely overswings. Nice easy down and through, and carries it into the 2nd deck and right.
Very similar to the home run he hit here as a member of the Diamondbacks. Well, now Lopez has a home run from each side of the plate as a Brewer. And he's having fun here as a Brewer. He's enjoying his teammates. His counsel bounces one to Votto, and Arroyo is there for him. The inning is over, but Felipe Lopez, his 8th homer of the season, his 2nd hit of the ball game, and the crew finally on the board. Well, now for a look at tonight's Guess the Stance feature. Who is this former Major League player? You can text who you think the batting stance guy is imitating. The short code 234-234. Keyword Brewers. He likes the high ball, I guess. We'll have the answer for you in tonight's Brewers Live postgame show. Did you get a good look at that? I was reading the card.
It's an easy one.
Okay.
I'm going to have to stay quiet on this one.
Suppan back on the mound. He starts his 4th inning facing the pitcher Bronson Arroyo to start it. Suppan wiggling off quite a hook last inning. First 3 batters reached. Rolen drove in a run. And then he retired Nix, Gomes, and Corky Miller in order without the runners advancing.
Yeah, best pitch of the inning came on that strike 3 called to Johnny Gomes right on the outside corner. Kind of gave him the opportunity light at the end of the tunnel to get out of that inning without a big run coming across.
Hit hard to left. Braun trying to cut it off. He does. Arroyo is on his way to second. Here comes the throw. And Arroyo is in there. A leadoff double. And the 4th consecutive inning, the Reds have their leadoff man aboard.
It looked like something up in the strike zone. Arroyo able to handle it and rips it down the line and left. How about the hustle by Bronson Arroyo? Pretty good athlete. Yeah, most pitchers just going to kind of lope down there to first base. Going to be satisfied with a single, but Arroyo right out of the box thinking about a double, able to get in there safely with a good slide. How about a head first slide by a pitcher?
And you can imagine what was going through the mind of Dusty Baker.
I mean, have you ever seen a pitcher slide head first?
I can't say that I have.
I can't remember one. I'm sure there has, but I don't remember one.
It's kind of one of those unwritten rules, you know. You don't do that.
Protect the hands, the fingers, you know.
Oh, he's at second for the top of the order. Well, the leadoff runner has scored in each of the last 2 innings. Suppan stranded a leadoff single in the 1st. Tough to work around a leadoff double, however, especially with the top of the order coming up. That was hit hard to McGee. He'll look Arroyo back. Yeah, good play for out number 1. Quick hands by Casey McGee. He was in on the grass looking for a bunt from Stubbs.
You're going to make it out. You better hit it to the right side, at least early in the count. Stubbs hits it hard, but right at Casey.
Leads us to our Aflac trivia question. What primary position did Felipe Lopez play during his All-Star season in '05 as a member of the Reds? That's a good question. The everyday second baseman for the Brewers. There was talk when Lopez arrived to town after the trade that he'd play a little third, play a little short. Well, he's pretty much been penciled in second base every day. Had a little hamstring tightness right at the outset in his 3rd game with the Brewers, and that knocked him out for 3 days. But other than that, he's been out there every game.
Yeah, his bat made that decision for Ken Maka. He's not sitting the bench. It's nice having a switch hitter in the lineup too. I mean, the only switch hitter for the Brewers all season long. You get that flexibility. You keep him at the leadoff spot each and every day. You get that continuity at the top of the order. You know, Lopez, Braun, and Fielder every single day, and they mix and match with the number 2 hitter. You can get away with that, but when you start mixing and matching and platooning number 1 and 2 in the order, it's tough to stay consistent offensively.
Two balls and a strike on Giannis. Giannis is 0 for 1. He walked in the 1st and then rounded out. How about that? Thunder rolling through Miller Park. Wow.
And people cheering because of the roof. If there wasn't a roof, they'd be heading for high ground.
You know, they say it's the safest place to be right here at Miller Park in a storm. Man. Look at the lightning. The bolt flash that caused the rumble.
How many
You're
hours?
supposed to count the seconds between.
Right. One Mississippi, two Mississippi.
The flash and the wasn't much there.
Right. How many hours of rain delays have the Brewers experienced in Milwaukee?
0.
What was it in Washington? What do they have? Like 38?
No, I'm glad you asked that, Rock. The updated number is nearly 36 hours of rain delays in Washington, D.C.
And still 0 for the Brewers.
Still 0. Did have a slight delay and a power outage once this year. 2 balls and 1 strike on Giannis. And that one's hammered down the left field line. That is going to go to the wall. Arroyo will score. Giannis on his way to second with a double. A ringing double to left by Paul Giannis. And the Reds have a 3-1 lead.
It looked like a changeup up in his eyes. I mean, literally up in his eyes, about letter high, and that's not where you want a changeup. Left it upstairs, and Giannis hammers it to left. One hops out of here, and leadoff double by the pitcher comes around to score.
Now the double by Giannis will allow the Brewers to walk Joey Votto. More thunder to cheer about.
Did you close your windows in your car?
Man, knew I forgot something. Would you mind running out there real fast? Carlos Villanueva begins to get loose. First and second. Well, tough hitter coming up. Brandon Phillips. The Brewers just trying to hang in there right now. There have been a ton of base runners in every inning so far. Cincinnati stranded the bases loaded in the second. They left 2 on last inning. They've left 6 on through the first 3 innings.
7 hits, 5 walks. But the Brewers in pretty good shape, only down 3-1. Got to get Phillips out. Just now activity down in that Brewer bullpen.
So Bosio has had his say. And we'll see what Suppan has in mind for Brandon Phillips. 3-1 Reds. First of a 3-game series with the Reds. And a 6-game homestand. In the dirt, Kendall snap throw to third, not in time. Good base running there by Paul Giannis. Interesting that Votto does not take off from first.
Well, he had to make sure that Giannis was going to take off. If he gets a late break, I think Jason's just going to throw to second base and get him. That's the thing about the trail runner on a play like that. He's always going to get a worse jump. He thought about going, but he probably should have, because he took off right away, but don't know why, but he stopped. He would have made it easily.
Still a chance at a double play to get out of the inning, but now a fly ball to the outfield will likely score another run. Close play at first. Suppan's been walking the tightrope all night. He's been able to limit the damage up to now. But Phillips strikes a menacing pose at the plate. He is their best run producer this year and has runners at the corners.
Now, Suppan hopes to get a ground ball. He's got to get the baseball down. I mean, that last fastball up in the strike zone, and that's exactly what Phillips wants. He wants something upstairs so he can hit a fly ball, minimum fly ball. Doesn't want to hit a ground ball here because that may end the inning. Soup's got to get these pitches down around the knees.
Phillips grounded into a double play to end the first inning. And that one's bounced to third. Great play, McGee. His only play is first, but able to get it out without a run scoring. That was some kind of glove work by Casey McGee at third base.
And a good throw. Very surprised that Giannis didn't take off on the ground ball. I mean, you're told as a base runner that first and third with only one out, you got to take off to eliminate that double play. Good job by Suppan. There's the pitch that Brandon Phillips wanted. That pitch up in the strike zone. Got one a little bit further down, and a nice play by Casey McGee. And I don't know why, but Giannis didn't take off. Always have to take off on a ground ball like that. He would have scored easily.
No, instead, Suppan again a chance to get out of it. 2 outs with rolling up there. A bouncer to McGee. And that's your inning. Jeff Suppan wiggles off another hook. 3 runs have scored, but the damage could be a whole lot worse.
Check in with the crew in the community. Fans, you can enter an online auction at Brewers.com for a chance to watch the crew take on the defending World Series champion Philadelphia Phillies on Friday, September 25th, from some of the best seats in the house. Ryan Braun Suite. That's right, Ryan Braun Suite. The winner will receive 12 game tickets, 2 preferred parking passes, ballpark fare, and a chance to meet Ryan Braun after batting practice. Proceeds will be donated to Brewers charities with an earmark for the Little Brewers Baseball Club, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. Good event for Ryan Braun. Good opportunity for Brewers fans as Braun leads off in this 4th inning. The panels are being closed as we speak. It is pouring outside Miller Park.
Bring an umbrella?
No, got a roof.
For the walk to the car.
Oh, I'm just going to stay here until it stops. Plenty of rain. I love the roof.
Yes.
I love this ballpark.
And you know what? You love it even every time you go out on the road and you sit through a rain delay. Pittsburgh, Washington, a lot of rain. That's one thing you don't have to worry about here in Milwaukee. We are very, very lucky.
Braun right off the end of the bat. And it's 2-2. Ryan homered yesterday. Braun has 27 for the year. Powerball home run leaderboard. Fielder at the top. Prince with a chance at 40 this year. So much for 30 and 100. 30 homers and 100 RBIs. Fielder looking for 40 and maybe 120 or more this year. Arroyo strikes out Ryan Braun.
Yeah, pretty good fastball that time by Arroyo. He's been working inside a little bit more lately. Trying to sink that fastball. Able to do it to Ryan there.
What do you think, Rock? Felipe Lopez, what position did he play during the 05 All-Star season as a member of the Reds? Shortstop is right. And then the Reds brought Alex Gonzalez over. Gonzalez did not play much as a Cincinnati Red. He signed a 3-year deal with the Reds and didn't see much action. Cincinnati trading away Gonzalez to Boston. Fielder launches one. Is that going to stay fair? This one is a foul ball. Man, that was killed.
Upper deck. Jeez. This one you think you can't hit him any further. Boy.
An impressive clout.
Well, Arroyo tried to come inside, and Prince turned it around, nearly kept it fair, and went right back in there. That's what you love about Arroyo. He doesn't throw very hard, but I'll tell you, he's not afraid to come inside.
Fielder hammers that one to center, but Stubbs runs it down. And 2 quick outs. So plenty of oohs and ahs on that long foul ball, but Arroyo gets his man. 2 up and 2 gone in this 4th inning.
And took just a little bit off the fastball that time. That's that BP fastball that everybody's been talking about, that Arroyo throws. The 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Prince able to belt way out of here, but foul. And then he takes a little bit off of it and has Prince on the end of the bat just a bit.
Casey McGee with a base hit, just out of the reach of Rolen. And a single for the Brewers' third baseman. Made a couple of nice defensive plays in the top of this fourth inning and responds with a single in the bottom.
Yeah, that breaking ball that time, a slider from straight over the top. He usually throws them to right-handers. He'll drop down a little bit, throw that frisbee up there, but Casey able to wait back long enough to bang it into left.
Well, there aren't many hitters who swing at that pitch on the first pitch. Arroyo gets a lot of called strikes. Matter of fact, that pitch is known in baseball terms as a get-over curveball. But McGee, if he sees a strike, he'll bang it.
Yeah, particularly up in the zone. He likes the fastball up in the zone about belt high, and if that ball was down around the ankles, I don't think he would have swung at it. I mean, the fact that he's looking for a location is the key. He got one in the location that he was looking, regardless of the speed.
And all of a sudden the Brewers are a swing away from tying this game up. And a power hitter at the plate. Bounces one through, a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Crew. McGee and Cameron. And 2 men aboard for Frank Catalanato.
Brewer getting behind 2-0. He throws the BP fastball, and Cameron able to find the hole and keep the inning alive.
Two on for Catalanato, hitting an even 300 to start the day. Catalanato grounded out his last time up. Saw Corey Hart today. He was into his drills and still counting on a early September return to the Brewers. In the meantime, Catalanato gets most of the playing time in right field, especially against right-handed starters.
Yeah, saw Ricky down in the clubhouse today. He's looking good.
Ricky Weeks says he wants to play this year, but he doesn't think the Brewers are going to let him.
Not going to happen.
He wants to escalate that program. He does look good.
Yeah, no reason to do that.
And earlier today, Corey Hart and Ricky Weeks both working out on the field. Weeks trying to get his legs back in shape. Hart doing the same.
Just trying to get that strength back up. Still a little bit weak. You got to figure that takes a lot out of you.
Hart with emergency appendectomy surgery at the beginning of the month. And Ricky Weeks tore the sheath around the tendon in his wrist, in his right wrist, that knocked him out for the season. As the rain continues to fall outside Miller Park.
As we continue to play.
Catalanato walks. Good at bat by Frank Catalanato. That loads the bases here with 2 outs, and Dick Cole is on his way to the mound.
Well, it looked like Arroyo was going to have a nice quick inning. First couple of outs, he got Ryan and Prince. And 3 straight base runners, including his first walk of the night.
Time now for our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the week. It was 20 years ago yesterday that former Reds great Pete Rose received a lifetime ban from baseball. And our question this week is, should Pete Rose be reinstated to baseball? You can text your answer to 234-234. Text W for yes or X for no. We'll give you the final results at the end of the week. There's been a lot of talk about that lately. Good to get your opinion on it. Keep it running all week long. Here's Kendall now facing Arroyo with bases loaded. 3-1, the Reds lead it, and Kendall cuts right through a fastball. Arroyo can be sneaky fast with his 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
Especially when you go up there and look off speed. You look for that slider, you look for the curveball. Then it'll put that fastball in on your fists. Like that.
0-2.
Two-seam fastball that Jason swung over the top of.
This is usually the spot where Kendall gives you one of those cricket swings. Serves one into right center. 0-2 the count. Ooh, high and tight. He buzzed him with a fastball, and it's 1-2.
Yes, he did, figuring that Kendall was going to be leading that over the plate for that breaking pitch. Well, that's the first move. And driving that front shoulder toward the second baseman, and Arroyo stands him up.
These two were battery mates in Pittsburgh. Kendall and Arroyo. Base is full, 1-2 the count. And Kendall pops it up. Laynce Nix will make the call and the catch. And the Brewers strand the bases loaded. Arroyo pitches out of it.
Time to get you caught up. 4 innings in the books, 4 runs scored, 3 by the Reds. And they would get started in the top of the second inning. Is Corky Miller with an RBI single to right. Scott Rowland will cross the plate to give the Reds an early lead. Then in the top of the third is Scott Rowland driving in a run. It's Joey Votto who would score, and the Reds are on top 2-0. Then in the bottom of the third, Felipe Lopez goes deep for his second home run as a Brewer to get the Brewers on the board. Paul Giannis would add an RBI single in the top of the fourth, and that's where we stand now. It's 3-1 in the top of the fifth, and Guy Suppan working on his 5th inning, and that's exactly what Ken Maka and Chris Bosio wanted from the veteran in his return to the mound. And if he can continue to keep the ball down, he seems like he will be okay, because he only gets in trouble when he elevates the ball.
Now Suppan put on a fairly strict pitch limit of 80 pitches, but he is approaching that limit quickly here. He's got 77. Remember, the 4 of those came on an intentional walk. So I'm sure Maka would love to get Suppan through this 5th and then give him a chance to win the game. Suppan's spot in the batting order due to lead off next inning. So this will be his last inning.
Yeah, that's the key. He would love to have Suppan be able to get through this inning. That way he doesn't have to, waste a pitcher to bring him in this inning and automatically have him get pinch hit for. A little bit early for a double switch.
At the bottom of the order coming up, Laynce Nix will be followed by Johnny Gomes and then Corky Miller. 3-1 Cincinnati. Reds have scored single tallies in each of the last 3 innings. And in each of the first 4 innings, they've had their leadoff runner aboard.
Kind of reminds you of Giovanni's start yesterday, doesn't it? A lot of base runners. The Washington Nationals last night. In the first 5 innings, 1 for 12 runners in scoring position. And tonight, for the Cincinnati Reds, 3 for 13 in 4 innings. 13 at-bats with a man in scoring position already. But Suppan's been able to minimize the damage.
And he breaks the bat on Laynce Nix to start this 5th. So 1 gone for Johnny Gomes. Gomes is 0 for 1. Suppan walked him in the 2nd, but then struck him out in the 3rd inning. Coming to the Reds from the Tampa Bay Rays. Part of that magical run last year in Tampa Bay. Another cue shot. Gomes will take his hacks. There's no question about that. And there's no such thing as shortening up with 2 strikes with Johnny Gomes at the plate. He's up there ready to hit the long ball. Gomes was in the big leagues in 03 with Tampa Bay. He didn't play much in 03 and 04. Matter of fact, his rookie season was 05. in his first season in the National League. Taking another big rip, and it's 2-2. Gomes' best home run year was in 05, his official rookie season. He had 21 homers that year and finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting that season.
And unfortunately, he was hurt throughout the playoffs last year for Tampa. You put all those years in, and you strike gold, and you can't participate.
That's down the line. That is trouble if it's fair, and it is fair, and it's going to go to the wall. Gomes racing towards second. Thought about third, but he holds up, and a wise move.
And nice job picking up the third base coach. He was thinking about going. I mean, he was screaming around second base, finally picked up the third base coach and put the brakes on. Good decision, because the Brewers would have had him. That's not a bad pitch by Suppan. I mean, down and away, wasn't even a strike. And a good job of hitting by Gomes, hitting it down the right field line. Catalanado does a nice job hitting the cutoff man, keeping Gomes at second base. Picking up the third base coach nice and early. He knew right away that he wasn't going to attempt it. One thing about picking up the third base coach, you got to make sure you touch second base. Nearly tripped over the bag.
Sniper.
At some point, you got to make sure you know where second base is. And that was a perfect example of a runner who could not see the baseball down in the right field corner, picking up the third base coach in plenty of time.
And different if the ball was in left field, then you have the play in front of you and you make your own decision.
Don't need the coach.
But you see a lot of guys not watching that coach or not picking up that coach and ended up getting thrown out at third base.
Actually turning all the way around. Some guys you'll see turn all the way around as they get to second base. No reason for that. That's why you have a coach.
Well, a runner at second, another runner in scoring position for the Reds, and it's Corky Miller at the plate. Good play by Kendall.
Able to touch that inside corner, and about a third of the way to second base, he picks up his coach and nearly forgets about second.
Textbook base running. Lacked a little grace, but he did it the right way. Miller drove in a run his first time up. And the great strike call of Jim Joyce, one of my favorites.
Loud and early.
Like rolling thunder. Jim Joyce. Always a joy to call games when he's behind the plate.
He's been an umpire a long time. Jim Joyce was a minor league umpire when I was in the minor league circuit. That's how long he's been around.
That's forever.
Yeah. It is.
Jim Joyce on a crew that is chiefed by Darryl Cousins. Joyce in his 21st year, actually his 22nd year. He has 21 years of big league service time. Bouncer up the middle, a base hit. And here comes Gomes around third. He'll score. Corky Miller has 2 hits and 2 RBIs. And it's 4-1 Cincinnati.
Bottom of the order has been doing a lot of damage for Cincinnati today. I'll tell you. Gomes has been on twice. Corky Miller's been on twice. Bronson Arroyo with a double. And that's going to be it for Ken Maka. He's seen enough. Boy, an awful lot of base runners on Jeff Suppan here tonight.
9 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Suppan is out. We'll take a timeout, set up the new pitcher when we come back. Fans in attendance will receive a Jeff Suppan bobblehead, compliments of Red Prairie. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com. Mark DeFelice is on the pitch. Suppan is out after 4 1/3 in his first game back since returning from the disabled list.
Well, his job is to get the Brewers out of this inning. Ken Mock will go to a pinch hitter to lead off the bottom of the fifth.
Arroyo bunts the runner over for out number 2.
And that's why I don't see Villanueva or Burns in this situation. 53rd appearance for DeFelice, pitching better his last couple of times out. A .345 earned run average for DeFelice.
Suppan leaves with 4 1/3, giving up 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. That runner at second base, still his responsibility. Top of the order, Drew Stubbs batting for the 4th time. Well, the big day for Suppan comes tomorrow, when you see how his injured oblique holds up after a start in the big leagues. That one is skied into center field, playable for Cameron. So DeFelice comes on and gets 2 quick outs to end the inning. 4-1 Reds. The Brewers down 3 as we head to the home 5th. AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
And tonight's time of the game winner is the Whistle Stop in Woodman. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a 2009 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
Pitcher spot due up. Jason Bourgeois will hit instead, coming off that Brewers bench. So DeFelice gets the final 2 outs of the 5th. Suppan finishes with 4 1/3 and 9 hits and 4 runs. And the Brewers in a catch-up position. Had the bases loaded last inning with 2 outs. Could not punch one across.
They had 2 outs and nobody on, a couple of hits and a walk, but Arroyo able to wiggle himself off the hook. Brewers have had only 2 at-bats with men in scoring position tonight and are 0 for 2. The Reds feel as though they should be well out in front of this one.
It's one of those games where, with 9 hits and 5 walks, 14 base runners, to have only 4 runs at this point, I think the Brewers feel like they've got a small victory already.
Yeah, could be worse, a lot worse.
Cincinnati has left 9 men on base already through the first 5 innings. Bourgeois strikes out. It's slinging curveball from Bronson Arroyo, and his 4th punch out. Back to the top of the order, Felipe Lopez homered his last time up, his 2nd hit of the game against Arroyo. Powerball home run number 8 of the season. His 2nd as a Brewer. He's hit a home run from each side of the plate as a Milwaukee Brewer now. Had a single in the 1st. He homered in the 3rd. 44th RBI for Lopez. Felipe Lopez and Ricky Weeks went to the same high school in Orlando. Lopez was 2 years ahead of Ricky. Played together, know each other very well. They've known each other since they were little kids. And then Prince Fielder, once he moved to Orlando, kind of joined that group as well. So Lopez pretty well connected with a number of Brewers players, including Weeks and Fielder and Mike Rivera. He bounced around quite a bit, and he'll be bouncing around some more, you would think. You know, the Brewers, interesting to see what they do with Lopez. He's a free agent at the end of the year, and obviously with Ricky Weeks coming back, second base is accounted for.
Man, you got J.J. Hardy, you got Alcides Escobar, so the Brewers have some decisions to make. Of course, of the offseason this year.
Lopez just flares one. Giannis pulls it down. Out number 2. And the first time Lopez has been retired.
Yeah, it's amazing how small the baseball community is when you get guys that They may work out together in the offseason. All of a sudden they become teammates, and teammates all of a sudden. It's one of those things where you never know who you're going to come across in this game. I mean, there's not that many guys that are in the major leagues, and throughout the course of your career you're going to have stories like that quite a bit.
It is an exclusive club. I suspect though Lopez he's going to get a pretty good number in free agency. I mean, looks like he's going to be a 300 hitter again this year. As Counsell bounces one to Giannis, took a tough hop. Look at that arm. Wow. Counsell retired, 3 up, 3 down for Bronson Arroyo. 4-1 Cincinnati. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. 4-1 Cincinnati in the opener of this 3-game series. Jeff Suppan is out. Mark DeFelice got the final 2 outs of the 5th. And here is Carlos Villanueva to give Ken Maka hopefully a few innings here tonight.
Had a pretty good outing, his first relief appearance after 5 starts. That was a couple of days ago in Washington. 2 2/3 of scoreless baseball.
Villanueva facing Paul Giannis to start this 6th inning. Giannis had an RBI double in the 4th. The Reds have scored in every inning but the 1st, but only 1 run in each of the last 4 innings, with base runners everywhere. So Villanueva's job is to put a 0 on the board. Change the pace of this game a little bit. Big swing and a miss. Giannis down on strikes. And a good start for Villanueva.
Yeah, good changeup by Villanueva. That's probably his best pitch. Good pitch that he uses to get lefties. That one up in the strike zone, but Giannis out in front of it.
Well, more injury news today from the New York Mets. Johan Santana out for the season after he underwent microscopic or minor arthroscopic surgery on his elbow. Out number 2 as Votto flies out.
Yeah, the Mets the only team in all of baseball with more guys on a disabled list than Cincinnati.
Oh, J.J. Putz and Johan Santana with elbow injury. Santana's going to miss the rest of the year.
See Billy Wagner from the Mets went over to Boston.
He waived his no trade clause and he'll take advantage of the opportunity to go play with the Red Sox. Reports are that Wagner, who's been in rehabilitation outings in the minor leagues, he's throwing as hard as ever down there, which is surprising coming off the Tommy John surgery he had. But reports are he's throwing the ball up in the upper 90s again.
Well, when he was healthy, weren't too many better than Billy Wagner. I mean, not a big guy, not a tall guy. He's put together pretty well, but I'll tell you, he could touch 100 miles an hour and made it look easy. There's that change up by Carlos. Well, the Brewers are hoping that those 5 starts that Carlos made are gonna help him, in his work in the bullpen. They certainly did a pretty good job in Washington.
Allowed him to use more pitches and get more reps. Little jam shot. Counsell's there for it. And a nice inning for Villanueva. 3 up, 3 down for the first time today. 4-1 Reds. Braun, Fielder, and McGee coming up. 3-game series with Cincinnati. And it was Corky Miller who put the Reds on the board for the first time. An RBI single in the second inning. Scott Rowland drove in a run in the third. That was an RBI single from Rowland that scored Votto. Felipe Lopez, a home run in the third, his 8th of the year. Made it a 3-1 ball game at the time, but the Reds answered back as Corky Miller comes up with another base hit. And Miller has 2 hits and 2 runs batted in. Suppan went 4 1/3, giving up 4 runs. And it had to be finished off by DeFelice. Suppan coming back from injury. His first time on the mound in a month. So 4-1, the Brewers down to the Reds with Braun, Fielder, and McGee to start it out against Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo has 4 strikeouts. He has surrendered just the 1 walk and the 1 run on the homer by Lopez.
In my imagination, or does Bronson Arroyo have more of a curl to his hair than he used to, or is it just cut? It used to be a lot longer than that, didn't it?
You know, I'm not sure, Rock.
Or am I imagining the thing?
That's not really something I expected out of you, honestly. No? It's a territory that
I think he cut his hair. I think he did.
Braun.
No comment, huh?
Pops one up. Phillips. Oh, they dropped the baseball. A collision between Votto and Phillips. And the baseball popped out. Phillips had an easy play on it, but Votto kept after it. And Braun is safe.
That's a lot easier play for a second baseman. He has a better angle on it. You can see it much better. You can see Votto's got his back to the infield, and all he did was get in the way. You got to peel off. Somebody's got to call it. That's probably going to be an error on Brandon Phillips. But the ball dropped because of Joey Votto.
Look at Corky Miller standing right there with a chance for an out. Heads up play by the catcher, but Braun was close to the bag. And now Fielder is up. Four to 1 Cincinnati. Fielder is 0 for 2. And you know, Rock, now that I look at it, it looks like Arroyo is, you know, he's teased it up a little bit.
It's okay.
It's got some depth to it, a little body.
You don't have to help me out. I buried myself. You don't have to help me out.
Perhaps a little perm.
Yeah, you think?
I mean, there's some waviness, some
used
conditioner.
to have the locks, down around the collar.
Yeah,
up a little bit further.
that's a good observation. Under the glove of Votto. And Fielder is aboard. Votto, normally a slick fielding first baseman, but he raised the gate on that one.
That's another error. Well, back-to-back errors by Cincinnati. Yeah, giving the Brewers an opportunity. Another dead fish. The BP fastball probably should have been a double play. Votto came up empty, and the Brewers had first and second and nobody out.
And the tying run coming to the plate. Two on for McGee. Singled his last time up. He belted a hanging curveball into left field his last time up. Awkward swing from McGee, but a good pitch by Arroyo. Bronson Arroyo has good command tonight. He's throwing it pretty much where he wants it. Casey with plenty of power. He could tie it easily. Ball and a strike on Casey. Just missed 2 and 1 the count. McGee's got the count back in his favor, and this crowd starting to energize a little bit here at Miller Park. And there was a big ovation after Villanueva retired the side in order. And the Brewers come right back, reaching base on consecutive errors by the Reds. And that sweeping curveball in there for a strike.
69, 67 miles an hour. How about that? barely making it to home plate. It's amazing he can actually have a break on that pitch, have it go from right to left with that kind of velocity. 67.
The gravity ball. 2-2. Casey rolls one, and the only play is at third base, and they get the out. Good play by Giannis. And McGee a little bit unfortunate that they had a force at third.
Yeah, you're right. The only play they had with Giannis going toward the line was to get the out at third base. Good instincts by Scott Rowland. You see the ball going in his direction. He took one little shuffle step and realized he better get to third base because that was the only play they had. Good instincts by Scott Rowland.
The first out of the inning. Still first and second with Cameron up. Cameron singled off Arroyo his last time up. He beat one into the ground between the hole at short and third. Ball and a strike. A long ball ties it. And Cameron hits one hard, but right at Rowland. Awkward throw to second and unable to make the turn. McGee goes in there heavy on Brandon Phillips. Heck of a play by Scott Rowland.
And that bad luck by the Brewers. I mean, back-to-back at bats could have easily been base hits. A nice play by Scott Rowland. A very awkward throw, but right on the money to Brandon Phillips. Cameron hits it hard on one hop. Look at the throw. Watch the throw by Rowland. Very unorthodox throw, but right on the money. No chance to turn two, with Cameron getting down the line quickly.
So a couple of shoddy plays defensively for the Reds to the first two hitters, but they've answered it with two nice plays to get two outs. And Catalanato is up there. He takes strike one.
Two errors on the right side of the infield and two good plays by the left side of the infield.
And remember, well, this infield as it stands right now, one of the best in baseball defensively. You got Phillips, a Gold Glove Award winner last year. Not many first basemen better than Votto defensively, and of course Rowland's been a multi-Gold Glove Award winner, and Giannis a slick fielding shortstop
with a big arm.
A little surprising that the Reds kicked a couple to start this inning. Four to 1 Reds. The Brewers threatening here, but Arroyo has two outs. And Catalanato gets jammed. Phillips is back. And he's got it for the out. The inning is over. The Brewers strand a pair. Big opportunity lost. And it's still 4 to 1 Reds. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Triple Hop Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Roof is closed on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee. A lot of rain outside the ballpark. As Scott Rowland leads off. Villanueva in his second inning of work. He worked a 3-up, 3-down 6th inning. First 3-up, 3-down inning of the night for the Brewers. As Rowland hits one off the end of the bat. Counsell knocks it down. Can he finish it off? Not in time. Rowland beats it down the line. And an infield hit. Scott Rowland has 3 hits here tonight.
I mean, still another leadoff base runner for Cincinnati. They haven't had one in 3 innings. Make that 2 innings and a leadoff single. Craig was able to get to it, but not able to get enough on the throw to get rolling. Rowland getting down the line in pretty good shape, pretty close at first. Good fastball by Villanueva. It had the plate, but it was down. That's why he was able to get the ground ball.
Here's Laynce Nix with a runner at first. That one's hit well. That one is not coming back. Laynce Nix off the beer pen, a 2-run home run. That makes it 6-1 Cincinnati. Boy, how fast it could turn. The Brewers sitting there with 2 runners on, nobody out. They don't score in the 6th, and the Reds come right back and get a quick 2 to start the 7th.
Now you see the fastball. Jason Kendall reaching back over the heart of the plate. It was supposed to be away. Right down the middle, and Laynce Nix hit it pretty well. And the Reds with a 5-run lead. Pretty good arm out there. Air train landing zone. See that throw?
Yeah, he gunned it.
Yes, he did.
He's going to need a little ice later, but
there's plenty out there.
Good thought. That's going to hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, Carlos continues to be bitten by the home run bug. It always seems to be an issue for him.
Brewers have given up more home runs than any team in baseball. Laynce Nix with his 11th of the season. It's got to feel good for him against his old club, the team that let him go. Wasn't a lot of room for Nix. They liked his talent, but the Brewers pretty well stocked up in the outfield. Guys like Nix and Tony Gwynn Jr.
Well, like Gabe Kapler go, they traded away Gabe Gross. I think they're very happy with the outfield that they have. I mean, when they're healthy anyway.
0-2 to Johnny Gomes. There's a double and a walk here tonight. He scored a run. And down he goes. Villanueva strikes him out. Second strikeout for Carlos Villanueva. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? The Brewers and the Reds back at it tomorrow. On the air at 6:30 for Brewers Live, and then a matinee on Thursday. A lot of your schedules show that game is not televised, but Fox Sports Wisconsin has added it. And we'll be on the air at 12:30. Final game of the series, and the Pirates come to town Friday. Rumor is you're getting a haircut tomorrow. Is that true?
Well, I'm trying to hook it up with D. Felice. You know, he's the resident barber down in that Brewer clubhouse, and I've been watching him all year long, trimming guys up and making them look good. So I figured, you know, we're going to get a camera down there. I've got permission from, you know, Tony Miliaccio, you know, the Brewers clubhouse guy and in charge of all the clubhouses. And, you know, I can't do anything in a clubhouse without Tony's permission. Particularly, you know, have hair all over the floor.
Nobody wants to be sweeping up your hair.
Right. I'm going to have to do that anyway. But yeah, we're going to get D. Felice to give me a trim.
So maybe that's why you're kind of in tune with the grooming, and why maybe you're focusing on Bronson Arroyo's due today.
Just noticed it.
Something a little out of character.
I noticed
for
it was a little bit shorter, but I was impressed though with your comment about it looks like he's teasing it. You must have girls at home, right?
Two of them. Down goes Corky Miller. Back-to-back strikeouts for Villanueva. You know, the hair issue is not something that the guys in the truck have to deal with.
No.
So I'm glad you could stand in for him. And speaking of fantasy camp, Rock, can women go to Brewers fantasy camp? Tony and Racine in our Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question.
Yeah. I mean, we have had a number of women go to fantasy camp. We have one that goes every single year. That is, unless she's with child, and that's happened once or twice. Jeannie Hatfield down in Franksville. Her and her husband go every year.
Trying to sneak one by you, huh? I mean, she could, with child, you could just go be a spectator.
And she does.
Oh, okay.
She comes down with Malcolm.
Still get the jersey.
She's a pretty good player, too.
Yep.
I mean, like to say it, but sometimes I think that a lot of the coaches will tell you that she's better than some of the guys that go down there.
Yeah, well, she's all the coaches, they do the draft. They draft the players. She's kind of a mid-round draft pick.
Yeah, yeah.
She's selected ahead of a lot of guys.
Well, she was a former
baseball.
Miss Wisconsin, so there may be a different reason why they might want her on her team. They of course have their own locker room. I mean, that's a must.
Clear that up. Well, speaking of teased hair, how about the sweet mullet?
Where's this coming from? Wow.
We're just trying to bring it all together with Bronson Arroyo and the over the shoulder. It's kind of a glamour shots kind of look.
Yeah.
But these two guys, they don't really require.
See all these flowing locks here? See them? See these guys?
Flowing locks. Villanueva strikes out the side after he surrenders a 2-run homer, and it's 6-1 Reds.
And 6-1, the Reds lead the Brewers as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Davey and I are getting set for our Brewers Live postgame report. Our instructional tonight, a good one. We saw it in the first inning. Felipe Lopez kind of froze out at second base on a line drive, and that's what we're going to work on in the instructional, Davey.
Well, that's what we're going to teach, what a base runner should do. You have it there. The most common thing you talk about is freezing. You hear that word a lot. No, no, no. I'm going to show you the right way in the instructional.
I'll tell you what, we could use a little freezing right now. With the roof closed, temperatures rise, maybe the home run ball will come alive for the Brewers. They need to rally down 5, Brian.
All right, Craig, Davey, thanks a lot. Looking forward to Brewers Live following the game. Well, the Brewers did score 6 runs in the 6th inning yesterday. Maybe they have another one in them just like it. Boy, big finish in Pittsburgh tonight. Andrew McCutchen hit a 2-run walk-off homer against Brad Lidge. And the Pirates beat the Phillies 6-4. Pittsburgh scoring 3 runs in the 9th inning.
Yeah, the Pirates hit 3 home runs in that ball game. Jimmy Rollins hit a couple.
So a big finish in Pittsburgh. You'll be seeing a lot on that game a little later. The Padres and the Braves are in extra innings. They're in the 10th and all tied at 1. Atlanta got a run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it as Kendall sends Stubbs deep to center for out number 1. Well, we invite you to help raise money for your favorite Brewers players' charities during Brewers Charities Bobblehead Raffles presented by Fox Sports Wisconsin. Sunday, August 30th, it's Jeff Suppan Bobblehead Day. You can visit Brewers Charities Jeff Suppan raffle table anytime through the 4th inning. And with every $5 donation, you'll have the chance to take home unique prizes. All proceeds will be donated to the Brewers Charities to support military causes. Visit brewers.com/bobble raffle for more details.
And Suppan is scheduled to make a start on Sunday. That should be good karma. Everything lined up. Bobblehead Day. Suppan on the mound.
That's usually when you have good success. And it'll be Suppan's second start. Pitched tonight, went 4 1/3, giving up 9 hits and 4 runs. And tomorrow will tell us more if Suppan is going to be able to make that start. Coming back from a side injury, an oblique muscle. It's always the next day that tells the tale. The lefty is Danny Herrera. Jared Burton, the right-hander in the far ground. Jody Garrett pinch hitting, and he whips one into center right at Stubbs.
Yeah, 2 pretty well hit baseballs, but the Brewers have 2 outs and nobody on.
Felipe Lopez, his 4th time against Arroyo. At the plate tonight, presented by Wendy's. He singled in the 1st, he homered in the 3rd, the lone Brewer run. And then he popped up to the shortstop his last time up. 2 for 3 is Lopez. His batting average .316. Came in 7th in the National League in batting to start the day. Hanley Ramirez still leads the league in hitting. 361 average for the Marlins shortstop. And there's another hit. Third hit for Lopez. Put him in a bottle. That is some kind of swing he's got going.
Yeah. And doesn't really want to pull the baseball, but he gets a pitch that he likes, middle in, he will pull it, just like the one that he hit out of the ballpark in the third inning. But that one right down the middle and a nice inside out stroke, and shoots it into left.
3 for 4 is Lopez, giving Counsell a chance to hit in the 7th. Jim Joyce rings it out. Arroyo gets ahead of Counsell. Lopez second only to the league's leading hitter, Hanley Ramirez, in 3 hit games this year.
He's had a lot of them in the last 2 weeks. Lopez. Seems like 2 or 3 a day.
Lopez had 1 hit yesterday. Had a 4-hit game in Washington on Saturday night. Drove in a couple of runs. Oh, 0-2 to Counsell. Fouls it off. Elsewhere in the National League, the Mets and the Marlins are done. That game is final. Florida wins it 2-1. So the Marlins hanging tough in that wild card picture. The Nationals all over the Cubs, 12-5. Washington had a 6-run inning tonight against the Cubs in the 5th inning.
Carlos Zambrano went deep in that ball game, but that's about the only thing he did well tonight. 4th home run for Zambrano. How about that?
He is a weapon off the bench. Unfortunately for the Cubs, Zambrano gave up 8 earned runs in 4 1/3. Counsell rolls one to Giannis, and the inning is over. Another scoreless frame for Bronson Arroyo and his fluffy hair. We'll go to the 8th. The Reds from the Brewers a little more, and Mike Burns is on the pitch. Carlos Villanueva working 2 innings, giving up 2 runs. Burns will have the 8th, most likely the 9th.
Yeah, had a rough outing against the Nationals, so he's back in the bullpen. Lasted only 3 innings in his start. That was Sunday. 12th game for Burnsy. I would imagine that Ken Maka would love to see him finish this one out.
Ken Maka and Willie Randolph talking strategy the rest of the way. 6 runs on 11 Cincinnati hits. And Drew Stubbs ready to lead off. Burns at the top of the Reds order. Well, they played a dandy tonight in St. Louis. Cardinals won it 1-0. Wandy Rodriguez against Adam Wainwright, and that game was as billed. Wandy Rodriguez gives up a 1st inning run and loses. Wainwright went 8 shutout tonight with 3 hits and 5 strikeouts.
A lot of low scoring games in the National League except for that Washington score. 2-2 Dodgers in Colorado.
Stubbs hits one deep into right center. Back is Cameron running out of room, but he makes the catch. What a play by Mike Cameron. Over the shoulder catch by the Brewers center fielder, and that one goes on the reel right there. What a play.
What a tremendous effort by Mike Cameron. Able to go back. He turned around, never took his eye off the baseball. That's an almost impossible play. Reaches up and holds it in right in front of the wall. Knew exactly where he was. All right, Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Mike Cameron, what's new? It seems like every night he's making a catch like this. Well done.
Well, the catch was one thing, and getting to the ball in a position to make the catch was the first step. Cameron got a great jump and able to run it down. As Paul Giannis bats with one away. He's a joy to watch in center field.
That's extra bases with just about everybody else out there, but Cameron in center. Cameron playing a relatively normal average depth in center field. You see him take a nice route to the baseball, almost as if he knew exactly where that ball was going to land. You see the way he peeled off to the left right away? That ball was slicing just a little bit, or hooking, as it got out to center field, and Cameron able to make the adjustment and haul it in right in front of the wall. It's all about the first step. You talk to Mike Cameron, he'll tell you he knows if he's going to make the catch after the first step that he makes.
Giannis cuts through, and down he goes on strikes. So Burns 2 up and 2 down, picks up his first strikeout.
Good slider, down and away. Giannis tries to hold up and can't.
Cameron showing that Gold Glove form. 3 times the winner of the Gold Glove award. There's a line shot caught by Burns. So how about that inning? Some glove work for the Brewers. It started with Cameron's great play in center field, and a 3 up 3 down inning for Mike Burns. This week our U.S. Cellular text to vote question has to do with Pete Rose. Should Pete Rose be reinstated and eligible for the Hall of Fame? W for yes, X for no. We want to hear from you this week. We'll keep it going through Sunday, and that's the text code 234234, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Bronson Arroyo is done after 7 innings. Terrific performance tonight from the Reds starter. He goes 7, gives up just 1 run. The Felipe Lopez homer. And 6 hits with a walk and 4 strikeouts for Bronson Arroyo. He also chipped in with a double and 2 sacrifice bunts.
And Nick Massett, a hard thrower, has got pretty good numbers out of that Reds bullpen. Massett, and then you have Cordero, a pretty good 1-2 punch out there. A 2.78 ERA for Massett. And Bronson Arroyo now has given up only 8 runs in his last 5 starts. Wow.
And an ERA at 2.30 in his last 9 starts since early July. Arroyo has been one of the best, not just in this division, but in all of baseball.
That's the way it was last year. Off to a slow start, had a good second half, and doing the same this year.
Braun still looking for his first hit. The hard-throwing Nick Massett. Quite a contrast from Arroyo to Massett.
Yeah, you got to dial it up pretty quick with this guy on the mound. With Arroyo, you got to wait back.
Breaking ball misses away, and Braun even in the count 2-2.
Big contrast in styles and hairdos too.
Is that kind of the look you're going to go for tomorrow with DeFelice?
I hope not.
No, you want a little more to it.
I told him I just want a slight trim, just for the effect, just to show people, what he can do. I'm hoping he doesn't go crazy with the shears.
It's kind of like a staged haircut, then, kind of a photo op.
I'll put it on the pregame show, I think. That slider looked like it was a little bit off the plate, but Ryan couldn't hold up.
Braun is 0 for 4.
That's what we do, isn't it? I mean, whatever we do, we put it on TV.
That's what we do. Fielder, a big cut.
This will kind of be my version of the interview on the rail, the dugout rail interview.
Haven't been on the rail in a while.
About time.
Rail's been closed. Well, we're looking forward to that, Rock. Tomorrow, Brewers Live pregame. Appointment television.
I'll do anything to save a few bucks.
When you get right down to it.
That's what it comes down to.
Well, we'll see if you still think that way tomorrow.
So it has to be run by the by the barber himself. I talked to him on the plane yesterday, and he seemed like he was up for it. We'll see what he says after the game.
Talking about Mark DeFelice, who cuts everyone's hair. Make sure you throw a little propina in there, okay? Because he doesn't charge people. A little something for the effort.
A little what?
A little propina. A little tip.
Oh.
Playable for Stubbs. 2 outs. Menard's game reset. Let's show you how we got here. Jeff Suppan started, coming off the disabled list. Corky Miller with one of his 2 RBI hits today. Felipe Lopez homered for the Brewers in the 3rd, the only run for Milwaukee. A 2-out home run for Lopez. And Arroyo was terrific. 7 innings, 6 hits, only 1 earned run. Casey McGee's swinging at the first pitch. And that is a 3-up, 3-down inning for Nick Massett. We head to the 9th inning at Miller Park. 6-1 Reds.
Fantastic deal. Get 1 Terrace reserve ticket to select Brewer games at Miller Park and 1 reserve bleacher ticket to a select Tinder Rattlers game in Appleton, plus a special t-shirt. All for just $15. For details, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
Just a couple of weeks left in the minor league season. 40 games remaining for the Brewers.
Yeah, and Chris Narveson coming off of his first major league win in his 11th game as a Brewer. A .675 earned run average. He's been helping out Mitch Stetter as another left-handed option for Ken Maka.
Quite a thrill for Narveson, picking up his first big league win in Washington, D.C. A game that Trevor Hoffman saved. Hoffman keeps the baseball from every save, and while he didn't offer the baseball back to Narveson, he asked Narveson to sign the baseball. So Trevor Hoffman will have one in his collection, signed by Chris Narveson. What a thrill. Phillips pops it up. That's back in the seats.
A throw for Hoffman or Narveson?
Narveson said it was a thrill for him to have Hoffman ask him to sign a baseball.
Yeah. Well, you would. I think it'd be impossible to say anything to Chris Narveson after that game to wipe the smile off his face, and talking to him in the elevator at the hotel after the game. I mean, this is what, hour and a half after the game,
right?
You're a kid in a candy store, and that's the way it should be.
Well, it is a tremendous accomplishment for any athlete to pick up a win or your first major league hit at this level. We see it every day, obviously, and it has its own relevance with other major leaguers. But when you break through and finally get the first one, especially with a guy like Trevor Hoffman saving your first win, it's got to be all that much more special. Narveson has been at it a long time. He was drafted in 2000 by St. Louis and didn't surface in the big leagues with the Cardinals until 2006. He's pitched in 5 games that year and didn't get another chance in the big leagues until this season with the Brewers. In his 15th career game in the major leagues, he got his first win. And countless minor league games.
I see him quite a bit in spring training the last couple of years, but able to surface with the Brewers.
in his 10th season in professional baseball. Count stays full on Phillips. Narvison's from Colorado. He's from Inglewood, Colorado. Tall lefty, still just 27 years of age. Signed early and got his pro career started quickly. A line drive hit for Brandon Phillips. 12th hit for Cincinnati.
Well, fastball right down the middle. Narvison didn't want to walk him and hits it hard into left field. Phillips with a couple of base hits.
Big series in Colorado starting tonight. Keeping an eye on the Dodgers and the Rockies this evening. 2-2 is the score as that game is in the bottom of the 7th.
Colorado 3 back.
3 back in the division. The Rockies are the leaders in the wild card right now. The Giants are 4 back of Colorado in the wild card race. The Rockies have won 3 straight. Won 3 in a row from the Giants. They're hanging tough with the Dodgers.
Yes, they are.
It's a showdown series.
Probably playing better than anybody in the league right now.
Scott Rowland lines one to left, a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Cincinnati Reds in the 9th. Well, if any team has a history of getting hot, it's the Colorado Rockies. I don't think anyone will ever forget how hot they were 2 years ago in their World Series year. They went 20 of their last 21.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
And then they just blew right through the postseason. They swept the Phillies in the opening round that year, and then they handled the Diamondbacks before being swept by the Red Sox in the World Series. Scott Rowland with a 4-hit game. That's the first 4-hit game this year by Rowland. 3 singles and a double, an RBI, and he scored a couple of runs. Coming back from a disabled list on Sunday. Rowland with his best game of the year offensively. Counsell makes a play on Nix for out number 1. Hard to believe the National League West is the tightest race, not just in the National League, but in all of baseball. I mean, that race looked like it was over at the All-Star break.
Yeah, all the other ones were very close. It's been just the opposite. Colorado Rockies are second in the National League all of a sudden in runs scored and homers. Well, they started to hit the home runs. That's what we're looking at. I mean, 2 teams that, you know, really not a whole lot to talk about in that Western Division. You know, during the offseason, everybody was ready to hand that division over to the Dodgers, especially after Ramirez signed, Manny Ramirez.
And Ramirez came back from his suspension. The Dodgers still had a 7.5 game lead.
Not over yet.
Nope. A lot of baseball to be played. And wouldn't that be something? There's a liner. Snap throw to second is off the mark. And no chance at a double play. A good throw, and the Brewers are out of the inning.
It looked like Brandon Phillips was right in the line where Casey was trying to throw the baseball. Not sure, but that might be why he threw it up the line just a little bit. Actually, Phillips crawling back. That wasn't it at all. Just a bad throw.
So here's Corky Miller with 2 outs. You think about that Colorado club losing their manager. Clint Hurdle let go. Jim Tracy taking over and turning things around quickly. The former Dodger manager, former Pirate manager. Since that point, since Tracy took over, the Colorado Rockies. They have the best record in the National League.
Yeah, playing well. All aspects of the game.
Cardinals open the day with an 8-game lead on the Cubs. And the Phillies open the day with a 7-game lead on the Braves. So the tops of the division pretty well accounted for, but a lot of baseball to be played yet. All you have to do is ask Willie Randolph about comfortable leads going into September. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, Mets coughed up a couple in back-to-back years. But, you know, of course, don't ask him that.
No, don't ask him that.
And just kind of a rhetorical thing.
He knows all too well about September struggles.
Yeah, you want to get Willie in a bad mood, you go up there and ask him that question. Of course, it wasn't his fault last year.
Pretty compelling race going on in the American League as well, the wild card race. And the Texas Rangers with some staying power. Rangers have a 10-5 lead on the Yankees tonight. That's a big showdown series for Texas against the front runner in the East. Texas started the day a game and a half back of the Red Sox. Boston beat the White Sox tonight. The Red Sox won at 6-3. Laynce Nix's brother, Jason Nix, homered for Chicago. Jason Bay hit his 28th for Boston.
Yeah, no team has won more games at home at this point than the Texas Rangers. The Rangers and the Yankees both with 41 wins at home.
And the Yankees, their final at bat in the bottom of the ninth, down 5 runs. Adam Rosales is going to pinch hit. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Narveson. How about the Yankees scoring 4 runs in the first inning of that game? They led 4-0. The Rangers not only came back, but put a 5 spot on New York in the 4th. And have belted out 10 runs and 16 hits. Flare into right. Catalanato's got it. The inning is over. The Reds strand the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Last call for the Brew Crew. Bottom of the ninth at Miller Park, 6-1. The Reds have the lead. Pounding out 13 hits against Brewer pitching tonight. Suppan started. He's on the hook for the loss. Went 4 to third tonight, giving up 4 runs. Carlos Villanueva giving up a pair of runs in his 2 innings of work. Meanwhile, Bronson Arroyo and Nick Masset have combined for just 1 run allowed. Arroyo gave up a home run to Felipe Lopez in the 3rd inning in his 7 innings of work, and he's in line for the win. So Jared Burton will take over on the mound. McDonald stays in the game to play left. And the hard-throwing Jared Burton replaces the hard-throwing Nick Masset. Reds have plenty of arms in their bullpen, which is why they felt comfortable trading away a couple of them. They traded away David Weathers, of course, to the Brewers, and they traded away Josh Renicky, a good-looking young talent, to the Toronto Blue Jays. He was involved in that Scott Rowland deal.
Yeah, bullpen not the issue for the Reds, at least not now. You got to come up with some starting pitching. Kip Wells making a start tomorrow.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Aaron Harang, but Harang out for the season after emergency appendectomy surgery. Johnny Cueto on the disabled list. Edinson Volquez out for the season as well with Tommy John surgery. Dusty Baker and his Reds 3 outs away from winning back-to-back games for the first time since August 7th. 2-2 on Cameron. Full count. Well, to start the year, the Reds on paper had one of the best pitching staffs in the National League. They had great talent in their starting rotation. They had one of the best winning bullpens that you could assemble with Weathers and Arthur Rhodes and Francisco Cordero. I mean, those 3 guys lock down most opponents when they have a lead late. And then they have these young arms and Massett and Burton coming along.
And they were hoping that Homer Bailey would have been further along than he actually is. But that's the way baseball is. You don't play it on paper. All that good starting pitching that they had going into the season just hasn't been able to stay healthy. We were talking about with Burton. He just blew it right by Cameron.
A little cutter with velocity, 91 miles an hour with a wrinkle. Has one of those electric arms. There's Francisco Cordero. Still holds the Brewers' all-time saves record at 44 a couple of seasons ago. Back on the air tomorrow in high definition. 6:30 is airtime for Brewers Live. Game 2 of the series. The Brewers will send up Braden Looper against Kip Wells. Look at Jim Joyce still giving it the big effort. I love that.
To the bitter end.
I love that call. Every umpire should call a game like Jim Joyce.
Got to wear earplugs behind home plate. They're catching.
Even in the upper deck, they know it's a strike. Oh, Bird bobbles and then fires one over the head of Votto. And Burton might be hurt.
That'd probably be a base hit, I would think. Maybe not. He did drop it. But he was coming hard toward the line to grab it. Might be the 3rd error on the Reds. Of course, it could be a hit, too. That wasn't an easy play. Of course, he really didn't have to go after it as hard as he did, but because he went after it so hard and was going so quick, just couldn't keep it in his glove.
He planted that right leg right there and looked like he rolled his ankle a little bit. So reminiscent of the Yovani Gallardo injury last year, right there.
Yeah. Knee, ankle, you never know. Holding his knee.
Well, I'm sure that scared him for a moment. Error. That will be an error on the pitcher. Burton's going to try to stay in this game. One thing about leg injuries and pitchers, especially pitchers with arms like Burton, any kind of tweak at all, and you have to pay close attention because you don't want a pitcher up there trying to protect a leg injury and injuring his arm.
And using too much arm, not using his legs like he's supposed to, and compensating using more arm. That's how you get those shoulder and elbow problems.
Well, a scare for Burton, but he looks like he's all right. Brewers have a base runner at first. That'll be an error on Jared Burton. The 3rd Reds error. You don't see teams make 3 errors in a game and have a chance to win very often. The Reds athletic trainers keeping a close eye on Burton. Athletic trainers are perfectionists at body language. You know, they watch these guys every single day And anything that deviates from the norm, they'll know it right away. Tough to hide it. Jason Kendall sends one to deep left field. That one is going to be over the head of McDonald. Catalanotto racing around third. He's going to try to score. The throw comes in, and it's not in time.
Man,
close play. As Corky Miller put the deke on Catalanotto, it almost got him an out.
I'd say that Paul Giannis has a hose over there at shortstop. He really does. And Corky Miller just stood there as if the ball wasn't coming. And they almost got him at home plate. Boy, that would have been a disaster, being thrown out down by 5 runs. But Jason Kendall gets a fastball straight as an arrow right down the middle. They were shading him around toward left center. And watch his throw by Giannis. I'd say if he catches that baseball, it would have been very interesting as to what Jim Joyce would have called.
Well, he had him. Problem was Catalanotto depends on the hitters coming up. In this case, Mike Rivera, to give him some kind of sign. Rivera didn't tell him to slide or anything else, and Catalanotto thought the play was over.
Must not have been watching our on-field instructional last homestand. We covered that. The responsibility of the on-deck hitter on a play at the plate. Look at Miller, as if nothing's happening.
Oh, look at Rivera saying stand up. Rivera actually telling him to, you're in easily.
He wasn't, though. Bad advice.
I'd like to see Giannis and Escobar in a throwing contest. A velocity contest.
I put JJ's arm in there.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Giannis has one of those Tulowitzki kind of arms. You know? I mean, it's over the top.
Right.
Escobar likely back in the starting lineup tomorrow. Mike Rivera pinch hitting. Got a chance to drive in a run. 6-2, the Brewers are down. And Rivera pops it up. Miller gives it a look. And that's in the seats. Well, the Brewers accomplished goal number 1. Get the late bullpen active for Cincinnati. Arthur Rhodes is the lefty. The closer is Cordero. Full count to Rivera. Kendall at second. And he's hanging tough.
He's had some pretty good swings. That last fastball just missed it. A little bit underneath.
Yesterday, the Brewers scored 6 runs in the 6th inning against Washington. They got a long way to go, but just 1 out. Runner at second. Rivera takes ball 4. And this one is getting interesting again. Rivera walks back to the top of the order now with 2 on. You got Lopez due up. Lopez has 3 hits tonight. And back in the 3rd inning, he belted his 8th home run of the year.
Well, Arthur Rhodes getting loose. I would imagine that Dusty Baker would either go to his closer. It is a save situation right here for Cordero. A couple of men on, up by 4 runs. Well, it's probably going to be Cordero, I would imagine. Why not? Not sure why they got Rhodes up.
All starts with a Jared Burton error. He was ready to give the ball to Dusty Baker. Now finally Baker makes a call to the bullpen.
It's Going to be the lefty. That's a surprise.
So they'll turn Lopez around. And we'll take a timeout. Brewers getting something going here with 2 on in the ninth. Top of the order coming up. And if you're looking for a way to the finish line, if you can get Lopez and Counsell aboard, the Brewers will then send up the muscle in Braun and Fielder.
Outstanding numbers for the veteran left-hander. Still throws hard with a good slider. 53rd appearance and a 2.34 ERA. He still is a big strikeout pitcher. 39 strikeouts and a little over 42 innings.
Opponent batting average of 193. That's how good he has been all season long. Arthur Rhodes, one of the toughest customers in all of the game. 2 on with 1 away. Dusty Baker would rather Lopez hit from the right side. Lopez has 3 hits tonight, including that home run.
Still very unusual to get your closer up in the event you need him for a save opportunity. The save opportunity presents itself and you bring somebody else in. That does not happen all that often. Once you get your closer hot and ready to go, you usually bring him in.
Back up the middle, off the glove of Rhodes, and everybody's going to be safe. And looky here, the Brewers are going to bring the tying run to the plate. A base hit for Lopez, his 4th of the game. His 4th 4-hit game this year. And the Brewers have a shot at it.
Well, he threw the glove up there and thinking he was going to be able to turn a double play. But knocks it down, but everybody's safe. Only 1 hitter left on the bench for the Brewers. That's one of the problems that you have with only 4 men on the bench. That extra pitcher in the bullpen. Only Escobar left on the bench for the Brewers.
Well, barring a double play ball, Braun will get a shot to tie it up. Bases loaded. Counsell up there. Rhodes stays in for the matchup. Rhodes still has good velocity. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Got it by Counsell.
These are the situations where Craig tries to use left field and try and pull the ball. A lot of room in left center.
Kendall, Rivera, and Lopez on the bags. The tying run is at the plate. A run is in here in the ninth. And Corky Miller on his way to the mound to talk it over with Rhodes. Remember, Miller just arriving to the Reds from AAA Louisville. Hoffman just in case. Now, this will most certainly be Rhodes' last hitter. But Dusty Baker has his closer in the bullpen with the tying run at the plate.
Not something you see very often, and he's a good one.
Arthur Rhodes a little frustrated with the signal calling behind the plate, unable to match up. Rhodes not a guy to shake off. He just kind of stands there and stares until he gets the one he wants. The 0-1. Counsell takes one low. Counsell's been about as good as it gets with bases loaded throughout his career. But still looking for his first hit of the season with bases loaded in 09. Ball and a strike. 2-1.
That's been all fastballs by Rhodes. You got to figure he's going to throw one right now. Doesn't want to get down to count 3-1.
Counsell can handle the fastball. 2-1 pitch. Misses away. 3 balls and a strike. Missed. Ball 4. Counsell walks in a run. And the tying run is now on base. And Ryan Braun's coming to the plate with a chance to win it with one swing of the bat.
And here comes Dusty Baker. He probably should have called on Cordero 2 hitters ago. That's his closer. I have no idea why he didn't bring him in. And because he didn't, now the tying run at first base.
Braun and Fielder coming up. Here comes Cordero. What a matchup we are set up for. Let's have their closer on the mound. Finally, Francisco Cordero takes over for Arthur Rhodes. 2 runs are in. The Brewers were down 6-1 when this inning started. And now a long ball wins it for Milwaukee.
Yeah, tremendous numbers for Cordero. 40 strikeouts in 49 innings. He's only blown 1 save out of 27 opportunities, and he's only allowed 2 home runs. Home run wins a game for the Brewers, and the best 1-2 punch in baseball coming up.
Barring a double play, it'll be Braun and Fielder against Cordero. Ryan's only faced him 3 times in his career, has a hit against him, but Cordero has struck him out twice. Mike Rivera at third, Lopez at second, Counsell at first. 6-3 Reds, and Braun fouls one away. Cordero kept it away from him and gets ahead in the count.
That's ordinarily what he's going to do. He works the outside corner with a fastball and a slider. And both of them very good pitches.
Ryan back up the middle, base hit. Rivera will score. And here comes Lopez to score. Ryan Braun with a 2 RBI single. And the Brewers are within a run.
Boy, a mistake right down the middle. Looked like a slider just spun up there. And Braun bangs it right back through the middle to score a couple of runs. Now the tying run at second base with 1 out. Very good approach. Ryan not trying to pull it. Going right back through the middle.
4 runs are in. Here's Fielder. The tying run at second. Braun at first, the winning run. And Prince shoots one the other way. Here comes Counsell, and he'll be held around third as the throw is a good one to the plate.
A good idea. He would have been out by plenty.
Bases are loaded. Fielder singles to left, actually hit it too hard. Counsell unable to score, but he is at third base with just 1 out.
A bullet. An absolute bullet. I think Craig got a late break because he wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught at short. Craig's trying to windmill him around, but it was a good decision by Brad Fisher to hold him up.
Here we go. Casey McGee steps in. Hit a grand slam earlier this year. A base hit could win it. And a slider from Cordero. Ball, no strikes on McGee.
And a walk ties it up.
McGee is a very good fastball hitter. Will Cordero give him one? Braun has excellent speed at second base. 2-0.
And make him throw a strike. That plate gets smaller every time he throws a pitch out of the strike zone.
McGee, the 9th man to bat in the inning. The Brewers have scored 4 runs. Tying run at third, winning run at second. And the 2-0, and McGee, a mighty hack. 2 balls and a strike on Casey.
96 miles an hour, not letting up at all is Cordero. Right in the wheelhouse of Casey McGee, up in the zone. That's where he likes it.
Fouls it away. 97 from Cordero, and McGee was late, and it's 2-2. Counsell will be heads up. Breaking pitch in the dirt. If it gets to the screen, he'll be on the move.
He's only thrown one slider.
Braun has a big lead at second. He's the winning run. Casey fights one off. Count remains at 2-2 on McGee. All three Reds outfielders have very good arms. The 2-2. McGee takes one in the dirt. What a play by Miller.
And spiked the fastball, and that's just do or die for the catcher. You don't have time when you're throwing that hard to go down and block it. He just smothers it with the glove. A heck of a play. Got to be quick to be able to do that.
Didn't even have time to turn his glove over.
No.
So the Reds fortunate. Remember, all of this started with an error by Jared Burton with one out. Still one out. The 3-2 to McGee, and a line drive to left field. Counsell scores. Braun will be held as McDonald's throw sails wide. The Brewers keep on plugging away. We are tied at 6. Wow. And the bases are still loaded.
Unbelievable. Well, Cordero just kept pumping one fastball after the other. This time Casey McGee able to square it up and hit a bullet. A bullet in the left. Hit it too hard. Just like the base hit for Prince Fielder. No time for Braun to come around to score. This didn't appear that Francisco Cordero wanted to throw that slider in that situation. He went all fastballs, and the more fastballs that you see up there, particularly as many as Casey saw, the better chance you have of squaring one up, and he did.
Cordero blows a save. 8 consecutive batters have reached. The Reds got the first out in this 9th inning. Jared Burton struck out Mike Cameron. And here's Cameron again, batting for the 2nd time of the night with a chance to win it. All tied at 6. And that one almost got away from Miller. Cameron in the left. Here comes Braun to tag. The throw from McDonald to the plate. Braun is going to be out at home. A double play to end the 9th inning. And we are headed for extras. A perfect throw from McDonald. The Brewers get 5. And we're going to extra frames. End up pushing into extra innings, but how about 5 runs on 5 hits, and doing it against Francisco Cordero at the end to tie it up.
Well, it came down to the Brewer hitters hitting the baseball too hard, just like Mike Cameron that last play. Look at McDonald getting himself in good position to throw, and he throws a strike to Corky Miller, and really not even close at home plate. Well done out and left. Not much Braun could do about it. That was a perfect throw.
And that's what it was going to take to throw out the speedy Braun. And a good play at the plate. Miller standing right in there. But the Brewers tie it 5 of the 9th to square it up. And Trevor Hoffman is going to be on the pitch for Milwaukee as Craig Counsell will move over to second base. Escobar enters the game at shortstop.
Well, the Brewers out of utility players now. Everybody on the bench for the Brewers has been used. Trevor Hoffman in for the 39th time, and Ken Maka hoping he can put up a scoreless inning and get the Brewer bats in there and get the swinging again. I still can't believe Dusty Baker went with Arthur Rhodes in that situation. It was the same situation with the top of the order coming up, and didn't bring in his closer.
And then also kept the Rhodes in the game to face Counsell. Counsell represented the tying run. You rarely see that. It's almost an automatic for a manager to bring in a closer, not just in a save situation, but when the tying run is at the plate. And we'll see if Hoffman can get through it. McGee picks it up. Good throw. Good play by Casey McGee.
Boy, how much momentum is on that Brewers side right now. Well, the Brewers pretty much sleepwalking offensively through this game. All of a sudden getting some life with that error by Burton with 1 out in the 9th. And a good play by Casey McGee.
Casey had the tying hit in the 9th inning.
Playing even with the bag, just in case they were going to drop down a bunt.
A bouncer past McGee, a base hit. So Giannis singles to left, and the Reds with a base runner.
And that's the risk you take when you play your infield in. When your third baseman is in, even with the bag and guarding the line, a little bit easier for that hitter to bang one through the hole.
Giannis has 2 hits, on base 3 times. Well, the Brewers come off the deck. They score 5 in the 9th. Bring 8 consecutive batters reaching base with 1 out. A foul tip from Votto. Giannis will have to return to first.
Say the Reds are in bad shape with respect to pitching. They only got 2 guys left.
They have 2 pitchers. The Brewers have no position players remaining,
which is a better position to be in.
Change up for a strike. 0-2. Now the Brewers in the bottom of the 10th inning will have Catalanotto, Kendall, and then Escobar, which will be 7, 8, and 9 in their order after the double switch. I assume it's a double switch. Could have been straight up, I guess. As Cameron eases back. And he's got it for out number 2. Votto sends Cameron deep to center field. 2 gone in the inning. And Brandon Phillips coming up.
Boy, Votto hit that baseball pretty well. Cameron just kept going back further and further and able to haul it in front of the wall.
Actually, a no double switch for Ken Maka. Lopez taken out of this game, noticeably limping between innings. Santelli to get a report for you. Big swing and a miss. Phillips, a mighty hack and a 73-mile-an-hour changeup from Hoffman.
And the reason you do the double switch in this situation is because, as we talked about, no position players for the Brewers left. And you don't want your pitcher coming up in any type of situation that might hurt you.
Well, I guess it gets to that point and Lopez's spot comes up, which will be the next batter. We'll see who Maka will call on at that point.
You got some pretty good hitting pitchers in that dugout.
Giovanni Gallardo.
You got Looper. He can swing the bat pretty well. Of course, he's making a start tomorrow.
Brewers will deal with that when they get there. Right now, trying to get through this 10th inning. Phillips pops it up and out of play in the seats. Boy, what a thrilling night for the Brewers. They score 5 runs on 5 hits. 8 consecutive batters reach base. And if not for a perfect throw from Darnell McDonald, the Brewers would have won it. Got to give credit to the Cincinnati left fielder,
who had just come into the ballgame.
0-2 to Brandon Phillips. 2 outs. Trevor last worked on Saturday. Picked up the save in Washington, D.C., his 27th of the year. And it took him only 9 pitches. Gallardo is being sent back down to cleat up and get loose.
Get the blood flowing, young man. You might win this game.
Only adding to his legend. Into center. Pretty well hit. Cameron with room, however. And here we go. All tied. Bottom of the 10th coming up. Brewers a chance to win it.
A big comeback in front of Brewers in the 9th inning. 5 runs in all to tie the game. 6-6 as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. But unfortunately, a bit of bad news to report on. Felipe Lopez, when he scored, he started holding his hamstring, something he's had a problem with in the past. He immediately went up the tunnel, but came back down to try to stretch it out and hopefully support his teammates. But he was unable to remain in the game as Alcides Escobar move over to shortstop and Craig Counsell move over to second. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it seems like he may have re-aggravated that hamstring. So we'll definitely give you more once we find out more, guys.
All right, thanks, Telly. So that is a situation for Ken Maka as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. The new pitcher is Carlos Fisher. The Brewers hang only the 2nd blown save of the year on Francisco Cornero. Fisher takes over. The Reds have just 2 pitchers remaining. Catalanato leads off. And a bouncer over to Phillips at second. An easy out to start this 11th inning. Excuse me, this 10th inning. Well, if anybody gets on and this game is still ongoing, Ken Maka is going to have to use a pitcher in Lopez's spot in the batting order. And it looks like it's going to be Giovanni Gallardo. Obviously went down underneath to take some cuts off the tee or in the cage. Well, wouldn't that be something if Gallardo steps up with a chance to win it?
He'll be ready.
Kendall had the double and the RBI that started the scoring in the 9th. 5 runs come in, and the Brewers tie the score. Kendall lofts one to center, playable for Stubbs. And 2 up and 2 down. So 2 quick outs for Carlos Fisher. And here is Alcides Escobar. Escobar doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but he did just homer in the last series against the Washington Nationals. That was on Sunday.
Might be a time to try and jerk one out of here. Looks like he did.
And there's Gallardo on deck.
I tell you, Escobar can take a healthy hat. He doesn't get cheated up there.
Got his first career major league home run Sunday afternoon against Craig Stammen. Pulled it down the left field line. Curveball over his head. I think you'd like to see if Escobar can reach base. He has great speed and a threat to steal and get himself in scoring position.
That's a pretty good slider right there. That was a nice pitch.
Well, the Reds look like they had this one in the bag. 2 outs away, a 6-1 lead. Brewers score 5 runs and tie it before they're able to get the 2nd out of the inning. Two and 2 to Escobar. A little flare to right, falling fast. Nix lays out and makes the catch. What a play by Laynce Nix.
A dangerous play. Boy, that ball gets by him. No telling how long Escobar is going to be able to run.
Instead, it's a 1-2-3 inning. And we head to the 11th at Miller. Well, if you turn the TV and you're back with us, you missed all the action, or at least most of it. The Brewers score 5 runs, all with 1 out in the 9th inning. And they hang only the second blown save of the year on Francisco Cordero. Tie the game of the 9th, and here we go to the 11th as Todd Coffey comes in to pitch. The former Red matching up against his old mates.
Well, 5 pitchers, including Coffey, remain in that Brewer bullpen. For Dusty Baker, according to my scorecard, they've got 1 left. That's that lefty Daniel Herrera, unless they bring somebody. Maybe Kip Wells, who's supposed to start tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know. But Todd Coffey, not a bad option in the 10th. Been throwing the baseball very well. Didn't have to use him yesterday after using him back-to-back days in Washington.
Well, no matter what happens, the Brewers are going to call on Giovanni Gallardo to lead off in the bottom of this inning. The Brewers are out of position players, with the 2 injured pitchers coming back, Dave Bush and Jeff Suppan. Ken Maka, Chris Bosio choosing to go with an extra reliever. So they'll take their chances with pitchers swinging the bat the rest of the way. So who's going to outlast the other? Gallardo was in the on deck circle ready to hit in the bottom of the 10th. His spot never came up. That spot is due to lead off in the bottom of this inning. And rolling slightly off the end of the bat. Braun with room, and he's got it for out number 1. Coffey retires Scott Rowland, who has a 4-hit game for out number 1. Here's Laynce Nix. Made quite a catch to end the last inning. A high risk, high reward catch for Nix.
Yeah, that was a big chance that he took. Probably wouldn't have been able to circle the bases, but that ball get by him. I mean, that's easy. It's triple. 2 outs, nobody on. This is not a play that is recommended. I mean, you play it safe there. You'll give up the single. You've got a pitcher coming up. And if that ball gets by him, you got big trouble. You got big problems.
Well, Escobar at his great speed. But Nix makes the play and sends it to the 11th. Now he's down 0-2 on Coffey.
One thing it does do now, I think the Reds are feeling pretty good about having a pitcher lead off the bottom of this inning, instead of having, giving the single up to Escobar and have Giovanni come up, and then you have Counsell to lead off the bottom of the 11th.
Hoffman worked a scoreless 10th inning. Coffey pitching here in the 11th. All tied at 6. And down goes Nix. Coffey strikes him out with a breaking ball.
How about that slider? Straight down. That looked like a splitter. Look at this pitch just drop off the table. Man. You don't see many Coffey sliders do that.
Coffey with 2 outs. And here's Darnell McDonald. And his right arm, the reason we're still playing baseball right now. McDonald gunned down Ryan Braun, trying to score on a potential sacrifice fly that would have won the game. McDonald made a perfect throw to the plate to get him. Coffey deals it, and it's a little bit away. 2 balls and a strike. Pitcher spot due to lead off for the Brewers in the bottom of the 11th. Lopez out of this game. Tightness in his hamstring. And then Counsell, and then Braun. And Coffey trying to get it there, all tied at 6.
Now, Ken Maka is going to have an interesting decision. I mean, Coffey can give you multiple innings, but I think if you get out of this inning without a run scoring, you got to send up somebody that you feel has the best chance of getting on base.
And that somebody's going to have to be a pitcher, because the Brewers are out of position players.
And if you're thinking along those lines and not, thinking about having to play the 12th, I think that Todd Coffey's not the guy you want to send to the plate.
I think Maka's thinking about sending Gallardo up there to hit one out and just add to his legend. He's hit 2 home runs this year.
These are the things that come back to bite you. You make the decision to go to 13 pitchers, and look what happens first day.
Full count. Count stays at 3-2. McDonald had a good hack.
Game of baseball keeps you honest, doesn't it? You try and roll the dice, you try and play with a short bench, and it doesn't take long.
Coffey, the 7th pitcher used tonight. Some kind of comeback here at Miller Park. The Brewers score 5 in the 9th with 1 out to tie it up. And here we are in the 11th. And McDonald hanging tough. Hang in there, buddy. It's going to be worth it. Full count, 2 outs. The 8th pitch of the at-bat. Full count, 2 outs. The 9th pitch of the at-bat coming. Coffey deals, and a bouncer. Escobar flags it down, knocks it down, but no chance at an out as McDonald is safe on an infield hit, and a well-earned infield hit at that for Darnell McDonald.
Yeah, he battled, didn't he? Coffey threw him a couple of good sliders and a good fastball down in the zone. McDonald went down and got it. And even had Escobar been able to come up with it, wouldn't have had a play.
Now that sends up Corky Miller. Miller has 2 hits and 2 RBIs in this game. The Reds had a 6-1 lead with 1 out in the 9th. But the Brewers managed to tie it up. Miller was with the White Sox earlier this year. He didn't play much. And Cincinnati just calling him up from Louisville over the weekend.
And Ryan Hannigan on the disabled list with a concussion.
Ball and a strike. Coffey, the 7th Brewer pitcher. Trying to get it to the bottom of the 11th, all tied up. And quite a decision coming up for Ken Maka should he do so. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Big fastball from Todd Coffey.
I just couldn't catch up with that high fastball.
One and two. Go ahead and run it first, and McDonald. He has great speed, and Miller fouls it away. Excuse me, had.
You know, one of the considerations that Ken Maka in making a decision as to who to lead off in this inning. You know, all 3 pitchers that are left for the Brewers in their bullpen all pitched in yesterday's game, including Claudio Vargas, pitched 2 innings. Vargas, Weathers, and Mitch Stetter.
So the decision is, does Coffey hit for himself and stay in case you go to a 12th inning? Swing and a miss. Down goes Miller. We'll see what the decision will be. Still tied. Will Giovanni hit to lead off? Whoever hits, it's going to be a pitcher. Stay with us. Just joining us, here's how we got here. 6-1, the Reds had the lead. That error set up this double, and the Brewers were finally on the board again, and then 8 straight batters reached base, and the Brewers managed to tie it up. Braun had a 2 RBI single. Fielder had a base hit, but he hit it so hard the Brewers were unable to score. Then McGee singled. That tied the game. Cameron hit one to left. It looked like a game winner, but a great throw from Darnell McDonald cutting down the speedy Ryan Braun, and that kept the game tied. So here we are at the bottom of the 11th, and Todd Coffey will stand in there and hit for himself. And Rock, the decision made to go with Coffey. Obviously, if this game goes to a 12th inning, Maka needs the pitching.
Right. As we mentioned, the more you think about it, and these are the things that the manager has to take into consideration. And what do you expect Giovanni to do anyway, right? Do you expect him to get a base hit? I mean, he is a pitcher after all, so if you don't expect a whole lot out of one of your pitchers to go up there, you might as well leave Coffey in to pitch again, if necessary.
Well, you can imagine Coffey has not hit much in his career. Borrowed batting gloves. Actually has his own helmet, surprisingly. Has 2 at-bats this year. Now he's taking a hack at one. Why not, big fella? Back leg one out of here.
Almost hit Counsell on the on-deck circle.
That's
just a little tardy.
It's like a 3-pointer in cricket right there.
Do some damage, you make some contact there.
Coffey is 0 for 2 with 3 sacrifice bunts, and he takes a rip and slices it foul. See? I mean, he's getting closer.
Anybody with a bat in their hand can be dangerous if you don't make the pitches.
I'm sure at some point Coffey was a threat with a bat in his hands. Might have been when he was 12 years old, but he's trying to dig up some of those memories right now. 2-2 the count on Coffey. He fights one off. Lives to see another one, much to the delight of his pitching mates. Coffey has 5 career major league at-bats, and he's 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. Popped him up. And one out, but a good battle.
Took some good hacks.
His first non-strikeout as a big league hitter.
That's good effort.
And now the Brewers get to the business end of it with one away. Counsell will try to get it started. Ryan Braun is on deck.
This is how it started in the ninth.
Reds had a 6-1 lead with one away and nobody on base. And then an error by Jared Burton kicked off a 5-run, 5-hit rally to tie the game. If anybody gets on, Fielder will hit. Counsell in the air to right, won't carry. Laynce Nix makes a catch for out number 2. And here comes Ryan Braun with 2 away. Carlos Fisher has done a nice job. He's retired 5 in a row. Braun drove in a pair of runs off Cordero in the 9th inning. A long ball wins it. And a breaking ball strike from Fisher.
And that one hung just a little bit too much. A hanging slider.
Oh, 2 to Braun. Good slider that time. All tied at 6. Braun down 0-2 here in the 11th. And Ryan strikes out. Fisher impressive. 6 up, 6 down. And the side retired. We head to the 12th inning at Miller Park. A lot of free baseball tonight. And the Brewers glad to have it. They score 5 in the 9th inning to tie it. And here we go to the 12th. Todd Coffey back on the mound. He gets an at-bat in the 11th inning. For this particular instance, in case the Brewers were unable to win it, Coffey can give Maka some extended innings. And Coffey, with a couple of strikeouts in the 11th, did give up an infield hit. And he'll face a pinch hitter. Drew Sutton is going to come on to hit Rock in the pitcher spot in the 12th. And then the top of the order will follow.
Well, still 3 more players left on the bench. A couple of right-handed hitters and a left-handed hitter. An infielder named Kevin Barker, but not the Kevin Barker that used to play for the Brewers.
Meanwhile, the Brewers are out of position players.
We have just been informed by members of the Reds broadcast team that Micah Owings, a starting pitcher, is down in the bullpen and would possibly be available tonight. So add him to the list along with Daniel Herrera, a lefty.
Owings was scheduled to pitch on Thursday against Dave Bush. So Coffey trying to get it to the bottom of the 12th, still tied. Drew Sutton pinch hitting for Cincinnati. Sutton this year 7 for 42 at the plate, a 167 average.
If you're the Cincinnati Reds, you have to wonder what happened in this ball game, because in regulation the Reds were 4 for 19 with runners in scoring position, had a 6-run lead, or check that, a 5-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th. Boy, got to be kicking themselves.
Well, you think about how many base runners the Reds left on early in this game. They left 9 runners on base in the first 5 innings. There was plenty of opportunities at a knockout punch, but they kept the Brewers around, and Milwaukee comes up with another big inning. The Crew with a 6-run inning yesterday against Washington, and 5 runs and 10 batters to the plate in the 9th here tonight. They're trying to cap off one of the most thrilling victories of the year if they can finish. Coffey strikes him out. Has 3 punch outs. 3 of the 4 outs recorded coming on the K.
Gave him a high hard one. It looked like ball 4, but Sutton goes after it and comes up empty. Still good velocity for Todd Coffey. Even when he doesn't get good sink, he's got enough behind it to get you out upstairs.
Well, it seems like you get into this part of the game and a lot of hitters are up there trying to be hero, trying to knock one out and get out of their game a little bit.
Like Ryan Braun was doing that in his at bat, but I guess you can't blame with 2 outs and nobody on. Why not? Take a shot at knocking one out.
Top of the order, Drew Stubbs at the plate. His 7th plate appearance. Cameron got a late break, has to charge a little bit, makes the play for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Coffey.
7th plate appearance for Stubbs.
He's 1 for 6 tonight with a walk. And 2 outs for Paul Janisch. Janisch is 2 for 5 tonight with a walk. Had a double and an RBI in the 4th inning. Joey Votto is on deck. Coffey buzzes the tower as he sends Janisch to the dirt. Was it that close?
I think he was leaning.
We got a diver. Broke his bat.
And when your first move is toward the outside corner, pitches like that look like they're going to come and get a piece of you, even when they're not that close. Not to say that wasn't close. It did look like it was coming at him, but it makes it a lot more difficult to get out of the way on a pitch that's way off the inside corner when you're leaning out over the plate.
Janisch has 1 career major league homer in 89 big league games, none this year. That one is launched into left. Braun going back at the track. He's got it. A 1-2-3 inning. Here we go again. We're all tied. Guess who's coming up? The big man, Prince Fielder, leads off. You know what? You hang around long enough, you get a bonus sausage race. And we tip our hat to all of these fans still here at the ballpark and all of you still watching.
Yep, not even the sausage go home early, right?
No, this is fun, man. If you're going to stay this late, you might as well win.
That's right.
Milwaukee scores 5 in the 9th to tie it. Down 6-1 with 1 out, and they come back and tie it up. And Prince Fielder is ready to lead off for the Brewers here on the 12th. We take you back to June 27th, and it was Prince Fielder who walked off for the Brewers and plated Corey Hart. That was against the Giants. And everybody in the ballpark has one goal in mind for the home run derby champ. Daniel Ray Herrera is on the pitch.
Now, Herrera doesn't throw hard at all. He throws a slider, a fastball, and a screwball. In his 56th game, outstanding numbers that proves you don't have to throw hard to be successful at the big league level. This had to be smart and put the ball where you want it.
Ball's behind Fielder. Fielder, McGee, and Cameron. Brewers need a run to win it. And what a comeback victory it would be if Milwaukee can finish it off. Prince sitting on 33 home runs. He had a single his last time up. There's a strike right on the outside corner.
84 miles an hour with a fastball. All of 5'6", 165. I dispute the 165.
I'll dispute the 5'6".
You dispute that he's from Texas?
No, he's from West Texas. Odessa. Football country. Two balls and a strike to Prince. Oh, Fielder had a huge cut. 2-2. Herrera has been able to get outs at every level. Right off the end of the bat, Rowland makes the play for out number one. Herrera is one of those guys at no point in his professional career, probably even in his amateur career, did anyone have him listed as a prospect.
Right.
But yet he just keeps getting outs. He keeps making pitches. The Wolf is always at the door for him, and he's about ready to spend an entire season in the big leagues. He came over from the Texas Rangers. He was involved in that much publicized trade between Josh Hamilton and Edinson Volquez. The Rangers and the Reds.
Always told him he's not big enough, doesn't throw hard enough. Not going to be able to withstand a full season. Not strong enough. But here he is having a terrific season. And putting up some very good numbers in a hitter's ballpark. Great American ballpark.
He'll frustrate a hitter all day long. He throws a screwball, which is actually more effective against a right-handed hitter than it is a lefty. It's like a reverse curveball. Kind of looks like a right-handed curveball. Might see one right here. The 0-2 to McGee. And the screwball misses down and away.
Hasn't thrown a pitch over 84 miles an hour.
Casey had the hit that tied it off Cordero. McGee with plenty of power. The 1-2. Casey bounces one to Rowland. And out number two. Fielder and McGee retired. A couple of ground outs.
Just can't wait back long enough, can you? I mean, that's the thing with Herrera. He gives you all arms and legs, and that looks like he's going to throw it pretty good at you. Just never gets there. Like he pulls a string, literally.
Well, here's Mike Cameron now. Cameron thought he had won the game with a sacrifice fly his last time at the plate. Hit one to left, Braun tagged, and Darnell McDonald fired a strike to the plate for the double play that ended the inning. Cameron into center field. That one's got pretty good wood on it. Back is Stubbs, and he reaches up. He can't get it. Takes a big bounce. Cameron around second, on his way to third. And he'll make it with a triple. A belly flop triple with 2 outs. And the winning run 90 feet away for Mike Cameron.
Boy, inches from ending this ball game. I'll tell you, Stubbs got close to it. Didn't sound like he hit it all that well, but he did, and it carried into center field. Deepest part of the ballpark. Cameron on a pitch down in the strike zone. The way he hopped out of the box, it looked as though he thought it hit it out of the ballpark. And it looked like Stubbs actually jumped too soon. Ball hit about midway on the wall. Probably should have been caught. Off the wall, and Mike Cameron into third base. Right there, I think Mike Cameron thinks he hit it out of the ballpark.
And then got on his horse and ends up at third with a triple. Brewers have a good man at the plate, a contact hitter in Catalinato. And he takes a strike from Herrera.
That's Mike Cameron. That ball gets away from Corky Miller. You got to think about scoring.
Cameron ready to run.
He throws that slider and the screwball in the dirt.
Ball and a strike. The last time the Brewers won a game when trailing by 5 or more in the 9th was 2004. They did that against Montreal. They have a chance to do it right here and now. Ball and a strike to Catalinato. Down goes to 1-2. In that game in Montreal, or against Montreal here at Miller Park, the Brewers scored 5 to tie, and then they won it with 3 in the 14th inning. 1-2. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Catalinato looking for his first hit. Two former Texas Rangers matching up. Cameron at third, the 1-2. Catalinato bounces one over to Phillips. Side retired. We go to the 13th. Well, that total board keeps extending, doesn't it? We head to the 13th inning at Miller Park. Brewers with a thrilling comeback. They score 5 in the 9th to tie it. Still playing ball as we go to the 13th inning. Joey Votto leads off. Brandon Phillips to follow, then Scott Rowland. Todd Coffey back out there for his 3rd inning of work, and having to go right through the middle of this Cincinnati order. Coffey's longest outing as a Brewer came earlier this year. On April 19th, he went 2 2/3 against the Mets.
Got to save.
Ken Maka will ask him to go 3 here tonight. Still has good velocity. Coffey has struck out 3 batters in his 2 scoreless innings. He's given up 1 hit, an infield hit by Darnell McDonald. Two balls, no strikes on Votto. A dangerous bat. Coffey's still able to get one by him.
Yep, low to mid 90s, still here in the 13th inning. Well, Todd Coffey has been invaluable out in that bullpen. He can do an awful lot for you. A lot of different roles he can fill. Setup man, now he's becoming a long reliever and give you a good at bat.
Just missed. 3-1 to count. Coffey actually emerged as the Reds closer a couple of years back, prior to the Francisco Cordero era in Cincinnati. But the Reds released him last year in the month of September. Votto sends one deep to left. That is way back. Braun at the wall, and it's gone. Joey Votto has put the Reds on the board. A 7-6 Cincinnati lead as Votto hits his 19th of the year.
Excellent opposite field power for Joey Votto. And Coffey fell behind an account 3-1. He was sitting dead red, got a pitch away from him, and strong enough to hit it out the left. I think he knew it right away. Kind of stood there in the batter's box. Home run hitters know when they get them.
So the Reds have the lead again. And here's Brandon Phillips. Coffey has only given up 5 home runs all season. Has not pitched 3 innings in the major leagues in his career. The longest outing he's had as a big leaguer, 2 2/3.
Yeah, he's getting stressed about as far as he can go right now. His next pitch will be number 40. That's a lot of pitches for a short reliever.
Bouncer to McGee. First out of the inning as Phillips rolls out. On the bottom of this inning, the Brewers will have Kendall to lead off, then Escobar, and then back to the top of the order, which is occupied by the pitcher, and most certainly Ken Maka will call on Giovanni Gallardo. Scott Rowland takes a strike. Rowland has 4 hits. 4 for 6 in this game. Scored a couple of runs, has a double. That one's hit well to center. Cameron eases back. And 2 outs here in the 13th inning. Two outs, nobody on. A run is in on a Votto homer. Opposite field smash that has Cincinnati back on top. Laynce Nix. Been a couple of key defensive plays in this game by the Reds. It was an error that started the rally in the 9th inning, but remember the throw by Darnell McDonald to cut down Braun at the plate, the winning run. And then Laynce Nix laid out for one. He made a diving catch with 2 outs on a dying liner by Escobar. That one's hit well. Cameron going back, running out of room at the wall. There goes Laynce Nix with a home run.
And Todd Coffey just running out of gas right now. I mean, he is being pushed to the limit. Well, he's trying to give his team as much as he has, and he's pretty much emptied the tank here tonight. Fastball down and not much sink on it, and knocks it out of here. So a couple of opposite field home runs by the Reds, a couple of left-handers, gives them a 2-run lead.
Nix, his second homer of the game. 8-6 Reds. And here's Darnell McDonald. Nix home run in the 7th inning gave the Reds a 6-1 lead. It's his second multi-home run game of the year and the 5th of his career. In the right, Catalanado backs up, and the side is retired, but 2 solo homers has the Reds up a pair. Can the Brewers drum up some more magic here at Miller Park? Couple of solo homers from Joey Votto, and Laynce Nix has the Reds on top. 8-6 as we head to the bottom of the 13th. See if the Brewers can do it one more time. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win it. Might as well get 3. Kendall leads off. He'll be followed by Escobar, and then the pitcher spot due up. Danny Herrera pitching in his 2nd inning. Brewers had the winning run at third base last inning with 2 outs. It's amazing how close the Brewers have come to winning on a number of occasions, on at least 3 occasions. Even the base hit by McGee that tied it, he hit it so hard Braun couldn't score the winning run.
No, that's a situation that, why they couldn't win the ball game in regulation, because Cameron just hit the ball right on the line, not deep enough. You get under that baseball, game over.
1 gone here in the 13th.
But you know what they say about ifs and buts, right? Candy and nuts, be Christmas every day. Reds had an opportunity on a number of occasions to blow this game wide open. They essentially were handing that game to the Brewers on a silver platter, and they almost took it.
Here's Escobar. Herrera keeps pumping the strikes in there. Well, let's see if Escobar can reach base. Set up some dramatics with Giovanni Gallardo coming up. Brewers are out of position players. For the 2nd time in extra innings, a pitcher will have to hit as Escobar beats one in the ground. Giannis has a great arm, the great equalizer, and he cuts down the speedy Escobar. Well, 2 outs. Brewers down to their last out. And here comes Gallardo. Gallardo has 2 homers this year. He homered off Randy Johnson in April. That was his first start of the season. That was a 3-run home run. And then he homered against Pittsburgh. The only run of the game in a 1-0 Milwaukee win. Why not, right?
Joe likes the ball up.
Last hope for the Brewers. Their ace pitcher. Ball to strike. And Gallardo cuts through a breaking ball in Bernie Carbo fashion. Now he's got him right where he wants him. You remember what Bernie did on the next pitch?
You betcha, 3-run homer.
Gallardo in the left, right to McDonald, and that's the ball game. Well, the Reds do win it, but the Brewers took them a lot deeper than they thought. A 5-run rally for the Brewers takes the Reds to 13 innings, but Cincinnati on a pair of home runs wins it in